You fake innocent little schemer. Do you think this is still my last life? In my last life, I rushed in without a thought and beat the school bully badly. But she went around telling everyone I was her pathetic simp. She even joined forces with the bully to make vicious accusations against me before the teachers. I not only got disciplined, but also missed the life-changing opportunity of the college entrance exam. Most ridiculous of all, after graduation, she actually got together with that bully. They even got married. But now that I've been reborn, how could I possibly still ruin my reputation and future for you? Now, in the teacher's office, listening to the two of them spin their stories, I found it almost funny. In my last life, I fought hard to defend myself, but I failed in the end. At first, I couldn't understand why the teacher wouldn't believe me, but later, I understood from the very beginning. The homeroom teacher must have known, so no amount of explaining would help. And Chen's Sirou was never on my side. Sure enough, after homeroom teacher Song Wenbo heard Chen Sirou's answer, he immediately nodded. I understand. You two can go back first. Homeroom teacher Song Wenbo spoke helplessly. Lin Yifei, what am I supposed to say about you? Your grades aren't bad. How could you mess up at such a crucial time in senior year? Even if you like Chen Sirou, you could wait until graduation to pursue her. You were wrong to hit someone like that. Do you understand? Your punishment has already been decided. Write a 1,500-word self-criticism, and the disciplinary action will be announced school-wide. There are just over 100 days until the college entrance exam. Don't let something like this derail your life. Expressionless, I said. What if I refuse? Hearing that, Song Wenbo immediately lost his temper. His eyes widened as he said, What did you say? Refuse? Do you realize how serious your mistake is? Fighting is wrong to begin with. And at this critical time before the college entrance exam, the other students' parents aren't even holding you accountable. You're already lucky. And let me tell you, whether you write that self-criticism or not, you will still be disciplined. If you refuse to admit your mistake, then I'll have to call your parents. I smiled instead. Then the homeroom teacher opened the student parent contact records on his computer, found my mother's number, and called her. Honestly, I truly didn't care. In my last life, I endured so much injustice. I even bombed the college entrance exam. That was what truly let my parents down. Now, there was nothing left that could stop me. No matter what you say, I will never admit to a mistake I didn't make. Like I said, I did nothing wrong. What really happened? You know better than anyone. Teacher, discipline me or don't. I don't care. With that, I turned and walked out of the office. What a joke. I'm someone who has been reborn, and I'm supposed to fear someone like you? Now that I've returned to senior year, I will never bow my head and admit fault again. Back then, I failed the college entrance exam and missed out on college. It dealt me a devastating blow. Even now, those exam questions remain vivid in my mind. I swear, everything that should have been mine, every bit of my glory, I will take it all back. When I returned to the classroom, the whole class erupted. What happened? What happened? Several close classmates crowded around me, all asking what had happened. I smiled and said, what else could happen? They want me to write a self-criticism and apologize, then discipline me and announce it to the whole school. But I told the teacher, I'm not writing a self-criticism. With that, I sat down, pulled out my books, and prepared to study hard, to reinforce what I knew. Sunfei, beside me, gave me a thumbs up and grinned. That's badass. You said you wouldn't write a self-criticism. What did the teacher say? I smiled indifferently. He's calling my parents. But hearing that made Chen Sirou anxious. She immediately came over and pulled me into the hallway. Chen Sirou tried to persuade me worriedly. How can you refuse the teacher's demand if you won't write the self-criticism? What if this blows up into something bigger? I know you're angry that I lied. I'm sorry. I didn't want to do it either. But think about it. If we're both punished, isn't it better if only you take the punishment? Would you only be happy if I got punished too? Chen Sirou put on a pitiful, pleading expression, hoping to convince me to take the blame for everything. In my last life, because of her persuasion, I ended up shouldering it all alone, making myself a total dumbass. But this time, how could I possibly make the same mistake? And what if I still refuse? And don't you dislike Zhao Tianlei? Why are you defending him? Chen Sirou hurriedly explained. I'm not defending him. I just don't want this to become so complicated. If you don't want to write the self-criticism, I can write the self-criticism for you. Just apologize to the teacher, and this will all be over. Do everyone's parents really have to be called? Sirou couldn't help grabbing my arm. Her eyes filled with pleading. She begged pitifully. Please, I really don't want my parents to find out. Help me. I can promise you something. I played along with a smile. Promise me what? Sirou bit her lip and muttered. Don't you like me? I'll give you a chance to pursue me. I immediately laughed. Sorry. You should save that chance for someone else. With that, I turned and went back to the classroom. I was blind in my last life. Was I going to stay blind in this one? Besides, if I pursued anyone, it would be the girl who truly held my heart. Who would choose a fake innocent like you? Suddenly, my eyes lit up. At this time, that girl should still be getting bullied at the school next door. Not long afterward, my homeroom teacher called me back to the office. There, I saw Mom looking at me with mixed emotions. Clearly, she had never expected her son to get into a fight over teenage romance. After all, for so long, I'd always been an obedient, well-behaved child with excellent grades. I've already told your mother what happened. You explain it to her yourself. My mother, Yakin, sighed. She pulled me aside and questioned me in a corner of the office. Mom, here's what happened. I leaned close and quietly explained it in her ear. Then I took out my phone and opened the text Sirou had sent me. Mom was furious too. After all that, her son had been falsely accused. Yakin said angrily. How could this girl lie like that? Mom immediately held out my phone before Song Wenbo and argued. My son truly wasn't lying about this. He didn't go there because of a social media post. This female student herself said she was being harassed. My son went over because he couldn't stand by and watch. Song Wenbo's eyes widened as well. He hadn't expected there to be chat records like that. But he immediately clenched his teeth and said, lying was certainly wrong. But Lin Yifei did hit someone. That is a fact. And the student he hit is an athlete. What if he injured his hands or feet? Wouldn't that affect his exams? Then homeroom teacher Song Wenbo started lecturing me again. Lin Yifei, I only asked you to write a self-criticism for hitting someone. No matter what happened, you can't hit people, right? Sirou lied. And the teacher will certainly correct her too. But setting all that aside, you were wrong too, weren't you? I smiled and replied, setting all that aside. Impressive. Who would have thought a teacher could say something like that? Teacher, setting the facts aside, could I possibly be Qin Huang? They were the ones at fault. Why am I the only one being punished? Why not discipline all three of us and announce it school-wide? I don't care. Song Wenbo was beside himself with rage. Look at this kid. He has no remorse for what he did. He even dares to talk back to me. I'd say, a 1,500-word self-criticism isn't nearly enough. You need to write at least 3,000 words of self-criticism, and you'll be publicly reprimanded before the whole school. You don't show the slightest remorse. I smiled as I fired back, Teacher. Zhao Tianlei definitely won't be publicly disciplined. Will he? Are you sure you're qualified to be a teacher? Hearing that, Song Wenbo shot to his feet and bellowed, Lin Yifei. Now you dare to insult a teacher? Look at him, Song Wenbo said to the student's family standing nearby. You've seen it yourselves. Look at this attitude. I don't even want to handle this anymore. Take it straight to the disciplinary office. What's the point of going there? You think I don't know Zhao Tianlei is the disciplinary director's son? Would he really let his own son suffer? The moment I said that, all hell broke loose. Half an hour later, in the disciplinary director's office, Director Liu Qiang reprimanded us with a grim face. I know all about what you said in the teacher's office just now. You're Lin Yifei's parent, right? Let's not discuss who's right or wrong for now. Let's talk about his attitude. He also talked back to his teacher. He angered his homeroom teacher so badly that his heart was acting up. Is that acceptable? And what was that about me letting my own son take the fall? If my son made a mistake, I criticize him just the same, scold him and beat him just the same. That brat. I'll give him a beating when I get home. But let me make this clear. Lin Yifei must apologize to the teacher. He must recite a 3,000-word self-criticism before the whole school. His behavior has been far too egregious. If he can't acknowledge his mistakes and correct himself, then our school can't teach him anymore. Hearing that last sentence, Yakin immediately became worried. Director, what do you mean? Are you expelling my son? He's already in his final year of high school. Liu Qiang sat there and snapped. Look at him. He has no respect for teachers. He even said his teacher wasn't qualified to teach. How are we supposed to teach a student like that? It isn't that we don't want to teach him. We truly can't do anything with him. Yakin tried to explain. I know my son can be a little stubborn, but before she could finish, I suddenly blurted out, Mom, it's no big deal. If it comes to that, I'll transfer schools. I'm sick of first high anyway. Second high next door isn't bad either. Liu Qiang was utterly enraged. He pointed at me and cursed. Look at him. Look at him. Mrs. Lin, I'm giving him one final chance. Either reflect seriously on your mistakes, or withdraw from school. I laughed. The hell with first high. I don't want to study here anymore. Once word got out, the whole class erupted. Are you crazy? Transfer schools. Transfer now. What about the college entrance exam? Just write an apology and admit you were wrong. Several classmates I was close to. Several close classmates came over to persuade me. After all, the college entrance exam could shape your entire future. Our homeroom teacher just told me, if you're willing to write a 3,000-word self-criticism, accept the disciplinary action, and apologize to him, they'll let this go. Otherwise, our whole class won't get chemistry lessons. Liu Zian said in exasperation. Exactly. Fine, you got discipline for fighting. But why drag us into it? Can't you just apologize? Why should the whole class lose lessons because of you? Chen Sirou already said it. The teacher had already calmed down, but you insisted on arguing with him. And aren't you causing Chen Sirou to be punished too? It wasn't enough that you got discipline alone. Now Chen Sirou has to call her parents in. Are you happy now? Look, Chen Sirou is crying. She said her parents are already on their way to school. What kind of man are you? How can you make a girl cry? Just then, everyone suddenly fell silent. Vice Principal Gur Haibo cleared his throat twice, then said, Who is Lin Yifei? Come out here. Every classmate gave me a complicated look. Then I went out into the hallway to speak privately with Vice Principal Gur Haibo. I thought he wanted an amicable discussion, but instead he tore into me. Even if a teacher wrongs you, you cannot criticize the teacher. Do you think getting a few good grades makes you something special? Then he shouted, First High has no shortage of students like you. If you don't want to study here, then don't. I replied without expression, fine. Vice Principal Gur Haibo was so furious he could barely catch his breath. It was his first time encountering such a bastard of a student. He cursed, then withdraw. Chen Siru's mother finally arrived then. Yet instead of disciplining her daughter first, she immediately tried to clear her daughter of all blame. Then, with a grim face, she pointed at me with one hand. Who the hell are you? How dare you say our daughter lied? Teacher, I think this boy should be transferred away. You can't let him stay in the same class as our Sirou. I bet he'll keep harassing Sirou. When my mother heard that, her anger flared. She was about to argue back, but I said directly, I'll withdraw. Mom, don't worry. My grades will only improve after I leave school. At that moment, the physics teacher nearby, Qinshui, sighed and said, There is a physics competition next month. I was planning to recommend you for it. It's a very good opportunity. With your ability, if you achieve a good result, it might even earn you extra points on the college entrance exam. There is only one spot per class. If you withdraw, that spot can only go to someone else. With a shameless smile, Chen Siru's mother said, Teacher, that competition can add points to the college entrance exam. What do you think of our Sirou? Why not let her give it a try? Qinshui gave an awkward smile. Well, her physics grades are mediocre. 2 days later, I took my withdrawal application to my homeroom teacher for his signature. You've truly ruined your whole life. Song Wenbo couldn't help but reprimand me. I've never seen a student like you. And your grades were fairly good. I was even planning to enter you in the chemistry competition. I replied indifferently. Teacher, if you apologize to me now, I might consider staying and competing in the chemistry competition for you. If I win an award, you can take credit for it too. Song Wenbo's face darkened. Go, go, go. He immediately signed my withdrawal application. Take this to the dean's office and have the dean sign it. Then submit it to the principal's office. A little later, I arrived at the dean's office. Withdrawing, right? He then signed the withdrawal application. After signing, he still threw a few sarcastic remarks my way. Finally, I went to the principal's office. But this time, I went to Principal Zheng. I took a deep breath and said, Hello, Principal. I'm Lin Yifei. I'd like to apply to withdraw. Please sign it. I handed over the application form. Principal Liu Shenyan frowned. He glanced at the reason listed on the form. Due to a conflict with the teacher, I cannot continue studying at this school and request withdrawal. May 28, 2025. Unable to continue studying. You're the student who talked back to a teacher, aren't you? Principal Liu Shenyan thought it was a real shame too. It was rare to have a student with good grades, yet he was withdrawing just like that. But a student who fights, talks back to teachers, and does not even respect the dean, really cannot be kept at this school. The corner of my mouth lifted slightly. Then an idea struck me. Principal, I heard First High is applying for provincial key model school status. If you need me, just have my homeroom teacher and the dean apologize to me, and I might consider staying. Principal Liu Shenyan rolled his eyes at me. It was the first time anyone had dared make demands of him like that. I was outrageously arrogant. Get out, you have no respect. You talk back to teachers, yet dare demand an apology from them? He immediately signed off on my withdrawal. When I returned to the classroom and packed up to leave, my deskmate Sunfei sighed. I'm doomed. Now I won't have anyone's homework to copy. I rolled my eyes and laughed. All you fucking know how to do is copy homework. Can't you study on your own? Sunfei explained. I'm hopeless at studying. Even when I study, I still don't get it. What else can I do? I remembered that in my previous life, Sunfei was one of the few classmates I was close to. I had even bombed the college entrance exam, and we later happened to attend college in the same city. It was also Sunfei who told me he discovered Chen Sirou and Zhao Tianlei were dating. Not long after graduation, word spread that they were getting married. Both sides invited many of their high school classmates. In the end, I was the only fool. Even now, it seemed absurd and laughable. Sunfei secretly glanced at Chen Sirou in the distance. Then he murmured, I heard Chen Sirou's mother even came by to speak with the other students in class. She told them to keep an eye out and not let you harass Chen Sirou again. I laughed when I heard that. Whatever. I'm transferring schools anyway. At last, the dismissal bell rang. Everyone began packing their things, and I was leaving this school too. I turned and walked out of the classroom. Then someone called out, Hey. Chen Sirou hesitated before saying, I wasn't trying to hurt you. Seeing that things had ended with me withdrawing, her conscience seemed a little troubled. I turned back and looked at Chen Sirou. Without expression, I said, Honestly, when you lied to the teacher, I was truly angry. I never thought you were this kind of person. Chen Sirou said aggrievedly, on the verge of tears. No. How could I deliberately hurt you? I looked at the girl before me. The feelings I once had for her were completely gone. Her explanation was nothing but an excuse. At heart, she was no good. I could not stop myself from snapping. You're such a bitch. You actually framed me with Zhao Tianlei. With that, I turned and left. I'd held those words in for a very, very long time. Even when they got married, I'd imagined cursing them out countless times. But it had only ever been a fantasy. I never thought I'd get the chance to say it today. Being reborn really is fucking great. I never have to live swallowing my resentment again. After I got home, the first thing I did was turn on my computer. Then I logged into First High School forum and found my post. I'm terribly sorry. For personal reasons, my novel, Dropping Out, will be on hiatus for now. In the days since my rebirth, I'd used my spare time on the school forum to post an online novel. It was just for fun at first, to see whether I had any talent for writing novels. But I never expected my transfer to come so suddenly. Since I was leaving First High, there was no reason to keep updating it on the forum. So I made a point of posting an apology to my readers. When they saw the hiatus notice, the post was flooded with comments from fans. Why is it going on hiatus? I hope you start updating again soon. Seeing those comments, I immediately smiled. Looks like I really did have some talent. Before I knew it, Monday arrived. I successfully transferred from First High to Second High. Second High's faculty was comparable to First High's, but its college admission rate was slightly lower. As Dad drove, he said with a stern face, You little punk really know how to cause trouble. You even gave your grandfather a scare. Good thing Second High agreed to take you, or I'd break your legs. Soon, we arrived at Second High's entrance. Since my grades were decent, the transfer process was completed quickly. They even assigned me to a class. Senior year Class 4 was Second High's top science class. Its homeroom teacher, Liang Yuding, taught English. The dean took me to find the homeroom teacher of senior year, Class 4, Liang Yuding. After telling her all about my notorious past, he turned and left. But I made a small request. Ms. Liang, can I sit beside Mengqi? Liang Yuding paused. Mengqi? You know her? A former classmate of mine knows her. Liang Yuding smiled. All right. As we talked, we reached the classroom door. The math teacher was inside, having the students work on an exam paper. She nodded politely. Then she led me into the classroom and smiled at the students. Let me introduce our new transfer student. After that, Liang Yuding had me step forward and introduce myself. Hello, everyone. My name is Lin Yifei. My grades are nothing special, but I have excellent character, and I never get into fights. The homeroom teacher standing beside me almost burst out laughing at that. Then she said, Lin Yifei is transferred into our class. For now, he'll sit beside Mengqi. The moment she finished speaking, a bespectacled, slightly dazed-looking girl looked up and glanced at me. Actually, it was my first time seeing Mengqi too, but I could tell at once that Mengqi was reserved and timid. She was the kind of girl who spoke little in class and was not good at socializing. She might even get bullied by other students. Girls like that tend to keep an extremely low profile in class, barely noticed by anyone. But after graduation, when everyone looked back, they would realize how wrong they had been about her. Many alumni from her year, even her own classmates, were abuzz. Even someone like me, who had graduated from first high, heard plenty about her. That showed just how famous Mengqi became. I took the initiative and walked over. Then I moved my desk and chair beside Mengqi. Once I sat down, the math teacher handed me an exam paper too. You should do it as well. We'll go over it in class tomorrow. Okay. No one expected that once the bell rang, the transfer student, would instantly become an animal at the zoo, surrounded by spectators. Even students from the next class came into the hallway to watch the show, pointing and gossiping. Is that him? I just asked my older cousin at first high. I heard he fought one of the athletes, then talked back to a teacher, and ended up having to drop out. No, I heard he fought someone because he was chasing a girl, and that girl did not even like him. Ha, that's hilarious. So he's a pathetic lovesick fool. I never imagined that even after transferring, because of that fight over Chen Sirou, I'd still be branded a pathetic lovesick fool. At that moment, the physics class representative, Wei Yingji, came over to greet me. You're the guy who left first high after getting into a fight. That's wild. Then a rather pretty female classmate walked over. Shen Xinyu smiled and said, Wei Yingji, you don't know the whole story. He was chasing first high school beauty and beat up an athlete over it. I heard that athlete was a teacher's son. That was why he was forced to drop out. Oh, actually, I know Chen Sirou. I looked at this new classmate in surprise. You know Chen Sirou? Chen Sirou and I were classmates in elementary school. I curled my lip and said, then transferring here was pointless. No wonder I had barely transferred from first high and had not even settled into my seat before my whole past was exposed. Shen Xinyu blinked. Then she asked eagerly, why not give up on Chen Sirou and try chasing me instead? The students nearby all burst out laughing. Don't you have Zheng Yansong? Shen Xinyu replied with a smile. I never agreed to date Zheng Yansong. Besides, I like smart guys. He's in the top 10 of his grade at first high. At our school, he definitely rank in the top 3. And I think he's pretty funny. He's obviously a top student. But he said his grades were nothing special during his introduction. He was transferred for fighting. Yet he said he never gets into fights. Shen Xinyu looked at me expectantly. So, or I could chase you instead. You seem like just my type. And I'm not like Chen Sirou. If someone fought for me, I'd be moved to tears, okay? I studied Shen Xinyu closely. To be fair, among high school girls, she really was quite a cute little beauty. Once she got to college and dressed herself up a little, she'd definitely be the prettiest girl in her class. But just then, a voice suddenly rang out. He's just a pathetic lovesick fool. That girl does not even like him. But he still fought for her. He ended up disciplined and forced to leave school. How stupid is that? Zheng Yansong glanced at me, his expression a clear warning. You'd better stay away from Shen Xinyu. With that, he led a group of students out, basketballs tucked under their arms. In my previous life, I might actually have been intimidated by his arrogant warning. After all, with that delinquent swagger, he looked like trouble. But now, seeing students act so full of themselves just felt ridiculous. Honestly, back in school, those cocky people in class, when you see them again after graduation, you realize they were nothing special after all. And the pretty female classmates were usually divorced with children, or had simply married some wealthy older man. Thinking of that, I looked again at the girl beside me, Mengqi, blankly doing her homework with her head down. My adorable, absent-minded little rich girl was still better. Then I leaned over my desk and asked tentatively, what about you? Do you know me too? Mengqi froze blankly for a moment. then shook her head. That's good. Then let's get acquainted properly. My name is Lin Yifei. When Mengqi looked nervously at the transfer student, then glanced at Zheng Yansong, who had just left. Do you know how to fight? No, I don't. They're making it up. Then be careful. Why? I asked. When Mengqi said worriedly, because Zheng Yansong might beat you up. I went blank for a moment. Zheng Yansong is the guy who spoke to me earlier. When Mengqi earnestly warned me, really, it's because Zheng Yansong likes Xiaoyou. But I answered calmly, it's fine. He won't go that far. Do you have a boyfriend? The sudden question stunned Wen Mengqi. She stared at the transfer student, wide-eyed. Then she shook her head to say no. My eyes lit up as I pressed on. Then, what about me? Would you like to be with me? When Mengqi jumped in fright, her face instantly turning scarlet, she stammered nervously, there's a question I can't solve. I'll go ask the teacher. When Mengqi then grabbed a math test paper and hurried out of the classroom. With Wen Mengqi's personality, she had probably never had a boy confess to her before, let alone someone as direct as me. She must have been scared stiff. For some reason, I felt especially excited. Maybe life at second high would be really interesting. It was not until the class bell rang that when Mengqi nervously returned to the classroom, she did not even dare lift her head. Clutching her paper, she went straight back to her seat. Clearly, my words that had sounded like a confession had left her nervous, shy, and embarrassed. She had no idea how to respond. Then the English teacher walked into the classroom. She looked up at me and spoke with a stern expression. I heard some of you have been gossiping about our new classmate. I don't care what happened before, but now that he's in our class, he is one of us. I don't want anyone talking behind a classmate's back. All right, I'll hand out the papers. Today, we'll do reading comprehension. Once you're done, I'll go over it. Clearly, the English teacher, Liang Yuding, had also heard some of the nasty rumors about my transfer. That was why she deliberately reprimanded them in class. During class, I made a pleasant discovery. My English skills completely outclassed high school students my age. Although I had bombed my college entrance exam, still, I had passed the college English test band 6 in college. Whether it was my vocabulary, my grasp of grammar, English writing skills, or reading comprehension, all of it was far better than that of ordinary high school students. After finishing the reading paper, I had missed only one question. In my previous life, I had performed poorly and scored only 112 in English. Had I performed normally, I could have scored around 125. But, in this life, I was highly confident that I could score over 140. After all, I had some major advantages. First, in college, while preparing for English proficiency exams and graduate school entrance exams, I had studied hard and memorized countless words. Second, I even knew the college entrance exam questions. Liang Yuding suddenly spoke from the podium. All right, everyone has checked their answers. There were 25 questions in total. Raise your hand if you missed no more than 5. In an instant, quite a few students raised their hands. I glanced around. There were 48 students in the class. 8 of them had raised their hands. That meant they had made no more than 5 mistakes. It seemed the advanced class was not far behind first high after all. Raise your hands if you missed no more than 4. At that, 3 students lowered their hands. Only 5 hands remained raised. They were the best English students in the class. To my surprise, the girl who had approached me earlier, Xiaoyou, had raised her hand too. Her English was genuinely impressive. How about no more than 3 mistakes? Of the remaining 5, only 1 person kept their hand raised. Liang Yuding smiled and said, Xiaoyou, how many did you miss? 2. Ms. Liang. Liang Yuding nodded with a smile. Not bad. This paper was quite difficult. I selected every question from past college entrance exams. Then Liang Yuding suddenly looked at me again. She asked curiously, Lin Yifei, your English should be pretty good, shouldn't it? How many did you miss? The moment she finished speaking, everyone turned to look at me, waiting for my answer. Figuring I should keep a low profile as a new transfer, I casually replied, Ms. Liang, I missed quite a few. I did not do my best. That's all right. Your deskmate, when Mengqi, is good at English. Ask her if there's anything you don't understand. My eyes lit up. I said, that's great. There is so much I don't understand. When Mengqi immediately grew nervous and said uneasily, Ms. Liang, I'm not very good at teaching. Clearly, I had frightened her earlier. She still did not dare look at me beside her. But Xiaoyou volunteered with a smile. I can do it. Ms. Liang, I'm the English class representative. I can teach the new student. I can teach the new student. After saying that, Xiaoyou winked at me. She gave me what she clearly thought was a charming smile. I smiled and said, no need. I smiled and said, no. When Mengqi can teach me. But just then, Yansong lounged in his seat and said flippantly, they called you a top student, but you're nothing special. If you miss over 5 questions on a paper like this, you probably cannot even score 120 on an exam. I thought first high's top 10 students were supposed to be amazing. Xiaoyou rolled her eyes at Yansong. He was obviously targeting the new student. His ranking is based on his overall score, not just one subject. Maybe he is good at math or Chinese. You have weak subjects too, don't you? All right. First high is first high, and second high is second high. Our second high is no worse than any other school. Do not sell yourselves short. Speaking of that, I just remembered. There is an English-speaking competition next week. Each class gets 3 spots. Come sign up with me if you're interested. This is a district-wide standardized competition. You need vocabulary beyond the high school level to enter. It tests your knowledge beyond the curriculum. If you place in the competition, you will receive both a certificate and prize money. A strong performance will bring honor to second high. Hearing that, I suddenly got excited. I immediately raised my hand and called out, Ms. Liang, I want to sign up. Yansong mocked. There are only 3 spots per class. You cannot even beat the people in your own class. How are you going to compete with the whole district? Ms. Liang, if you give him a spot, that would be unfair to everyone else. I laughed and said, why do I get the feeling you're targeting me? Hey, classmate, I'm not targeting you. I'm saying there are only 3 spots. Then we definitely need to screen the applicants. Besides, Ms. Liang just said, it's about bringing honor to second high. Obviously, the best students should go. Liang Yuding smiled and said, let's see how many people sign up first. If there are exactly 3, there is no need to compete. If more people sign up, we'll screen them. That settles it. Before leaving, Liang Yuding specifically came over to me and asked, let me see your test paper. Probably because I was a transfer student. Liang Yuding was unsure of my English level. She wanted to see how I had really done, so she would know how to help improve my grades. I paused, then replied, here it is, Ms. Liang. Remember to pick me for the speaking competition. I'm really good. Homeroom teacher Liang Yuding smiled and said, we'll see. But the next second, Liang Yuding flipped through my paper and froze. Nearly every answer on the entire paper was correct. Only one multiple choice question was wrong. Didn't you say you'd made a lot of mistakes? Why does your paper show only one wrong answer? The moment she said that, everyone in class stared wide-eyed. They all turned to look at me. With a sincere expression, I sighed. Ms. Liang, for me, getting even one question wrong is already unacceptable. Anything less than perfect is failure. In an instant, the classroom erupted. Xiaoyou, the English class representative, covered her mouth in excitement. That's incredible. Just as expected of a top student from first high. Yansong's mouth twitched. He glanced at his own paper and muttered through gritted teeth, what a show-off. English teacher Liang Yuding couldn't help laughing as she said to me, you really are something, kid. I told you to raise your hand. Why didn't you? Well done. Keep it up. After seeing my paper, she was immediately reassured. The administration had said from the start that I was an outstanding student. Just now, she had genuinely assumed my English was a little weaker, and my other subjects were a little stronger. But now it seemed that, at least, English was exceptional. I just put away my English test paper when I heard a girl behind me complain. Why did it stop updating? Xiaoyou, that one you recommended last time. The novel on First High's forum stopped updating. 2 girls immediately gathered around Xiaoyou and began discussing it. Even when Mengqi took out her phone and opened the forum to look, sure enough, she found a notice that updates had stopped. Curious, I asked, you read it too? When Mengqi bit her lip and nodded cautiously. Is it good? When Mengqi nodded again. It's good. I immediately smiled in satisfaction. Honestly, I think it's just okay. But as soon as I said that, Zhang Shiki, who sat in front of me, heard it. Zhang Shiki turned around to look at this top transfer student from First High. Then she asked curiously, didn't you come from First High? Do you know who wrote that novel? I asked in surprise. You know about it too. Wait, are all of you reading it? When Mengqi answered softly, Mr. Luo recommended it. Zhang Shiki explained. Our Chinese teacher. It was either 2 or 3 days ago. During class, he happened to mention There was a novel on First High's forum. That was pretty interesting. We got curious, so we all went to check it out. It really is so interesting. First High really does produce talented people. I can't believe someone there can write a novel like this. That was when it hit me. No wonder. I had wondered why so many people were reading my novel. It turned out a teacher had promoted it. The corners of my lips rose slightly. Looks like I should ask Mr. Luo what he thinks in Chinese class. If he has no objections, I'll submit it online and become a contracted author. Just then, Xiaoyou suddenly called out loudly. New student, Lin Yifei. Do you know the person on First High's forum? Who writes that novel? Everyone's eyes suddenly turned to me. They were clearly curious. After all, I had been a top 10 student at First High. Maybe I really did know the author. I smiled faintly. I do. The moment I said it, so many classmates got excited. I think it would be a huge hit as a television drama. I've never read this kind of novel before. The author is so talented. I deliberately kept them guessing, then said with a smile, it's not that amazing. I'll ask him for you later, when he'll start updating again. Facing this crowd of devoted readers, for the first time, I truly felt the appeal of writing novels. I even deliberately glanced at my adorably clueless, wealthy deskmate beside me. I found Mengqi looking at me like a curious little child. I'll tell you once I've asked him. The others could only sigh and leave. Still, that counted as good news. Then the bell rang. It was Chinese class. Then Chinese teacher Luo Wenxuan entered the classroom. Where's the new student? Here. I immediately raised my hand. Luo Wenxuan nodded and said, I've seen First High's rankings a few times. I remember you. Chinese is your weak subject, right? Yes, sir. Chinese really had been my worst subject. I was mainly poor at classical Chinese. And I was not very good at reading comprehension either. Of all the subjects on the college entrance exam, Chinese was the only one where I performed normally. Even then, I only scored 114 points. As Mr. Luo taught the class, I turned to my deskmate and said with a grin, your handwriting is beautiful. It's elegant, neat, and full of character. Just like you. You must be beautiful without your glasses, right? When Mengqi shyly bit her lip, she had no experience with boys pursuing her. This was her first time. She had no idea how to handle it, so she could only keep her head down and pretend not to hear me. Seeing that when Mengqi gave no response and was focused on studying, I did not have the nerve to disturb her any further. Instead, I took out my phone and began writing my novel. At last, the bell rang for the end of class. Chinese teacher Luo Wenxuan came down from the front. He looked down at me playing on my phone. His face immediately darkened. You've been playing on your phone? The entire class? The surrounding students suddenly watched like they were enjoying a show. In fact, everyone seated nearby had seen it. This top student who had transferred from First High had been on his phone throughout class. Sure enough, the teacher had caught me. I nodded and replied, I don't really like Chinese class. Luo Wenxuan said sternly, come outside. The classroom instantly erupted. They talked among themselves, with all kinds of comments. Out in the hallway, Luo Wenxuan asked with a stern face, why were you playing on your phone? You know Chinese is your weak subject. Don't you want to improve it? I pursed my lips and smiled. Sir, Chinese isn't actually my weak subject. I did it on purpose. I just wanted to ask if you could let me write during class from now on. Luo Wenxuan frowned. Right? What do you mean? I handed him my phone. The teacher took my phone and glanced at it. He froze. Isn't this? Wait, this is what happens next. Sir, I wrote that novel on First High's forum. I was writing an update just now. Luo Wenxuan stood there in stunned silence. You wrote it? He examined it closely. Sure enough, the account belonged to the novel's publisher. You really wrote it? Luo Wenxuan drew a sharp breath. I never expected this. His stern, disapproving expression instantly turned into an appreciative smile. After all, he genuinely enjoyed the novel too. Otherwise, he would not have recommended it to his students. Luo Wenxuan smiled. Even so, I can't allow that. Even though you wrote the novel, and it is indeed very well written, you still need to attend class. Your college entrance exam score matters too. I explained. I'm actually very good at Chinese. I guarantee I will score above 140 on the college entrance exam. Please believe me, sir. I would never gamble with my future. Luo Wenxuan frowned and muttered. That still won't do. Unless in Friday's for school join exam, you take first place in the school. Then I might consider it. First overall or first in Chinese? First in Chinese, of course. Didn't you say you were confident of scoring 140 on the college entrance exam? Forget 140. A 135 would be more than enough. Hearing that, I agreed without a second thought. Then it's a deal. If I take first place in Chinese in the four-school joint exam, you'll let me write my novel during class. Luo Wenxuan asked tentatively. Are you confident? I grinned. Confident? Absolutely. The four-school joint exam brought together First High, Second High, Experimental High, and Washi High for one shared examination. They all took the same test. These were L City's top for high schools. They had the highest college admission rates. First High and Washi High were the strongest. Second High came next, with Experimental High at the bottom. The joint exam scores did not predict the college entrance exam exactly, but the rankings were a valuable point of reference. Based on the rankings from previous years, the students who excelled in the joint exam were all likely candidates for admission to top-tier universities. Finally, Luo Wenxuan asked curiously, your novel is quite well written. You could consider entering the new concept writing competition. My eyes lit up. You mean the national writing contest hosted by Mengqi Literature, right? Luo Wenxuan nodded. That's the one. Want to give it a try? I heard several students at First High signed up too, and they even received private coaching. At a school meeting last week, the administration mentioned it. We had not planned to participate, because the national competition is extremely difficult. Our school does not have much chance of placing, but I think you should try. The corner of my mouth lifted as I asked, would this help our school compete for provincial key demonstration school status? Luo Wenxuan was somewhat surprised. He had not expected me to understand that. Of course it would help. If you achieve something, Second High will make a name for itself. Perfect. Sign me up. Luo Wenxuan laughed. You've really got what it takes, kid. Then I'll wait for your joint exam results. By the way, when will your novel be updated? Tomorrow. I should be able to post a chapter tomorrow. When I returned to the classroom, several gossip-hungry classmates immediately surrounded me. So, did Mr. Luo say anything to you? Just then, before I had even taken my seat, Luo Wenxuan suddenly returned to the classroom. There is one more thing I forgot to mention. There is a new rule for Friday's four-school joint exam. You will not take the exam in your own classroom. Everyone will be assigned to different classes. Lin Yifei, no problem with that. As soon as he said it, quite a few students looked at me in surprise. They had no idea why he was asking me that. I nodded with a smile. Got it, sir. The moment the teacher left, Zhang Shiki, who sat in front of me, turned around and asked, what was that about? Why did Mr. Luo ask whether you had a problem with it? I shrugged and smiled. Nothing. I told him not to bother me during class. He told me that in the four-school joint exam, I had to take first place in Chinese school-wide. And I agreed. The moment I said that, Zhang Shiki's eyes widened with excitement. Oh my god, first place school-wide. Are you serious? Even when Mengqi was stunned, she stared at her deskmate in disbelief. Just moments ago, he had been asking her to teach him Chinese. Now, in the blink of an eye, he was aiming for first place in Chinese. I chuckled teasingly. Keep it low-key. Keep it low-key. That said, I might not actually get it. I suddenly realized I was hungry. Isn't class over? Why haven't you gone to get lunch? Zhang Shiki laughed. I'm waiting for her. She said you did not have a meal card, so she wanted to wait until you got back and go together. I deliberately teased her. You're so good to me. When Mengqi's ears immediately turned red, she did not say a word. She merely lowered her head and took her lunchbox from the drawer. That afternoon brought another endless stack of test papers. Then my phone chimed. Sunfei had sent me a message. You transferred to class 4 at Second High? I froze for a moment. I had not expected Sunfei to know. A photo of you at Second High was even posted on the campus forum. Everyone is asking why you transferred schools. Chen Sirou's classmate is in that class too. I know. Shen, you told me. Oh. And that novel you posted on the forum seems to have blown up. At first, I thought I was seeing things. It became popular after only 4 chapters. Everyone in class has been asking why you have not updated today. How do they know it is me? They do not. They are asking why the author still has not updated. But Chen Sirou probably knows it is you, right? And our homeroom teacher came by just now and asked whether anyone knew who wrote the novel on First High's forum. Who wrote that novel? He said provincial officials came today to observe an open class, and after stumbling across the novel, they could not stop praising it. The principal wants to add it to the school library as a keepsake. Should we tell the teacher you wrote it? Although she did not reveal who had written the forum novel, Chen Sirou took the initiative and went to the teacher's office. She told the homeroom teacher, Song Wenbo, that she knew who the author was. Song Wenbo smiled. You came at just the right time. I knew that novel on our school's forum must have been written by one of our students. This time, officials from the Education Bureau happened to visit, and they immediately took a liking to the novel. The principal wants to take this opportunity to establish a literature club at school, then have this student share their writing experience. By the way, was it written by someone from our class? Chen Sirou hesitated, then nodded. Song Wenbo then smiled at Chen Sirou. Who wrote it? Chen Sirou fell silent for a moment. She had been wrestling with whether to tell him. After all, I had already left the school. Just then, Vice Principal Gur Haibo called. He asked who had written the novel. Song Wenbo quickly assured him, yes. One of my students wrote it. After hanging up, he remembered Chen Sirou had not yet told him who wrote it, so he asked her directly. By the way, you still have not told me who wrote it. Song Wenbo looked at Chen Sirou expectantly. Chen Sirou stammered, then said awkwardly in a low voice, Sir, maybe we should just forget it. Song Wenbo smiled. Forget what? Did you write it? Chen Sirou immediately waved her hands nervously. No, I did not write it. Then just say it. Why are you too scared to tell me? Homeroom teacher Song Wenbo smiled. The school will not hold anyone accountable or punish them. We will even encourage them. Left with no choice, Chen Sirou finally quietly spoke a name, Lin Yifei. At that, Song Wenbo was completely stunned. What? You are saying Lin Yifei wrote that forum novel? Chen Sirou lowered her head. I think so. Because the account of the person who posted it is his account. Song Wenbo was dumbfounded. His mind was buzzing. How could that be? His Chinese grades have always been poor. His essays have always been average too. How could it be him? Chen Sirou said uneasily. I do not know either. But that account really is Lin Yifei's. I even checked just now. I found their previous chat records. Song Wenbo immediately rubbed his head. He felt utterly screwed. Why did you not tell me sooner? Before Principal Gur called me just now. Why did you not say Lin Yifei wrote it? After all this, he is not even here anymore. And I already told Principal Gur it would be fine. Good thing the Education Bureau officials did not ask to meet him. What would we do if they wanted to find him? Chen Sirou lowered her head, looking aggrieved. I am sorry, sir. I did not know either. I was just too afraid to say it. After all, he had already left school. Song Wenbo was beside himself with rage. Worst of all, because of this, he had directly told the teacher's group chat that one of his own students wrote it. Was that not making a fool of himself? A student who had left school, and one he had to argue with, no less, was actually the person they wanted to find, praise, and encourage. Song Wenbo gritted his teeth. He has stopped updating it anyway. Just act like you do not know who wrote it. I will find an excuse to explain it to the school leaders. Remember, do not tell anyone Lin Yifei wrote it. Just say you do not know. Chen Sirou seemed to want to say something more, but held it back. Song Wenbo angrily rubbed his temples. Then he composed himself. Only then did Song Wenbo take out his phone and call Vice Principal Gur Haibo. Principal Gur, I am truly sorry. I just spoke with that student. He actually copied this novel from elsewhere. There is only that small amount of content. There is nothing more after that. So he was too embarrassed to come forward and claim he wrote it. After hanging up, Song Wenbo finally breathed a sigh of relief. But to be safe, fearing other students might know I wrote it, he had to go say something to the class and signal them to stop discussing it. Song Wenbo soon arrived at the classroom door. Inside, the English teacher was preparing to begin class. Song Wenbo gave a slight smile and said, Let me say a few words. Forget about that novel on First High's forum. The principal said it has stopped updating, so leave it alone. Do not concern yourselves with who wrote it. Even if you know, do not say it. Do not discuss this matter again. Focus on your studies. The four-school joint exam is coming up. Make sure you all get good grades. But just as he turned to leave, a student suddenly shouted, Sir, that is not right. The novel updated again 5 minutes ago. Song Wenbo's heart suddenly trembled. He froze as if struck by a bolt from the blue. It updated. Seriously? At once, everyone in the class pulled out their phones and checked the forum. Sure enough, the novel from First High's forum, Drops Out, unexpectedly resumed after several days without updates. With a newly posted chapter, Song Wenbo was completely stunned. His heart was already in turmoil. He instinctively roared, Class is in session. Who said you could look at your phones? Hand over your phones after class. The entire class was dumbfounded. They were terrified. Only after Song Wenbo left did everyone, sweating nervously, begin to whisper. Why did Mr. Song suddenly lose his temper? Sun Fei seemed to have guessed something. A slight smile tugged at Sun Fei's lips. He secretly glanced at Chen Sirou. Sure enough, Chen Sirou looked strange too. Sun Fei immediately sent me a message, telling me what had just happened. Meanwhile, back in his office, Song Wenbo could not help rubbing his head. What was he supposed to do now? He had just said the novel could not continue, and that bastard updated it anyway. If he admitted the novel was written by the student who had already left school, he would be admitting he had just lied. But if he did not come clean, what if the school leaders wanted to find that student? Just then, Song Wenbo had an idea. He immediately called Liu Qiang, the Dean of Discipline. Then he told Liu Qiang that I was the one who wrote the forum novel. Liu Qiang could not help retorting. Why not just say he left school? Why insist that he copied it from somewhere else? How will you explain it continuing to update now? This is not my problem. Figure it out yourself. Song Wenbo gritted his teeth and said, how am I supposed to figure it out? Should I say your son got into a fight, then colluded with a female classmate to match their stories, and forced Lin Yifei out of school? The line fell silent at once. Liu Qiang said coldly, then what do you want? Song Wenbo frowned and said, we will go directly to the school's forum moderator and say we are worried it will affect student studies. Then Lin Yifei's account can be deleted or muted outright. Meanwhile, at Second High, people also noticed the novel had resumed updating. Many immediately took out their phones and logged in to read it. Just then, the physics class representative Wei Yingji ran over. He stood beside me and asked, by the way, aren't you acquainted with the author? Could you ask him to update on a regular schedule? He writes so well. Just then, when Mengqi suddenly cried out, it is gone. Why was this post deleted? Everyone was instantly confused. They had been reading it just fine a moment ago, and then it was suddenly deleted. I frowned, sensing something was wrong. I checked the post on my own account, and found it really had been deleted. I blurted out with a mocking laugh, damn impressive. They are really trying to silence me for good. Zhang Shiki asked curiously, what do you mean? I was just about to say something when I saw the math teacher at the classroom door. I took the chance to message Sun Fei, but she had messaged me first. Your post was deleted. I think the homeroom teacher did it. The homeroom teacher just told us not to discuss it. At the front of the class, the math teacher cleared his throat and said, you all know about Friday's for-school joint exam, right? This time, you will be taking it in different examination rooms. Take it seriously. I will hand out to practice papers next. They are math papers from the for-school joint exam 2 years ago. I copied out some of the questions and wrote the rest myself. Class representative, come hand them out. But just then, Chinese teacher Luo Wenxuan suddenly appeared at the classroom door. He knocked and said with a smile, Lin Yifei, come out for a moment. Everyone curiously glanced at me in the back row. Once we were out in the hallway, the Chinese teacher quietly asked, why was your novel deleted? I shrugged with a smile. No idea. No one notified you? I just heard a teacher from First High say that officials from the Education Bureau even praised your novel. Why was it suddenly deleted? My eyes immediately lit up. I get it, sir. Because I left First High. They deleted it. Otherwise, it could become troublesome if the novel kept gaining attention. Luo Wenxuan smiled in sudden realization. That does make sense. Then why not post it directly on our Second High forum? You are at Second High now, anyway. No one will delete your post here. And if you place in the new concept essay contest, your novel might even get published someday. Then I returned to class. Not long after, the math teacher said, take a 5-minute break. We will continue afterward. But just as I got up to take a leak, Xiaoyou suddenly ran over. She grinned and said, I know a secret. Then she leaned close and whispered in my ear, you wrote that novel, did you not? I raised an eyebrow. Chen Sirou told you? Xiaoyou smiled smugly. I am not telling you. I whispered into her ear as well. I will tell you a secret too. I am going to resume updating it on the Second High forum. As soon as I finished, she clapped happily. Then I suddenly noticed that the pen on my desk and the notebook I had borrowed from Mengqi were both gone. I asked Mengqi in surprise, did you take back your pen and notebook? When Mengqi said nothing, I reached over to take them myself. But when Mengqi stopped me, no, go borrow them from Xiaoyou. I let out a laugh. I looked at my wealthy deskmate. When Mengqi, with her face set in a sulk, Are you jealous? Mengqi huffed and said, are you to not close? Why borrow things from me? I had to admit Mengqi, the little rich girl, was rather cute when she was jealous. Looking at my still angry deskmate, I thought for a moment, then unlocked my phone. I showed her my forum account. After giving it a stubborn glance, she instantly covered her little mouth in shock. I immediately shushed her. Smiling, I covered her mouth. Then I whispered, now you know. After that, I told her that Chen knew I had written the forum novel, as well as why I had fought with the Dean of Discipline's son. At first during physical education class on Wednesday, the teacher had everyone run 1,500 meters. Watching the way Mengqi ran, I understood why no boys pursued her, and why she barely had any close friends. She had probably been mocked by her classmates too often, which was why she had become so withdrawn. Yet at that moment, I suddenly felt as though I had discovered a hidden gem. Most importantly, this adorably ditzy little rich girl had yet to be cherished by anyone. Then let me cherish you from now on. Then, on the track, I ran beside Mengqi. Sure enough, Mengqi looked self-conscious. She lowered her head without saying a word, and kept running. As I ran beside her, I asked, what would you like to drink? I will buy it for you. And really, you do not need to care about the people who laugh at you. Only then did Mengqi cautiously raise her head. Yet she still looked self-conscious and timid. As she ran, she shyly whispered, why you are not laughing at me? Before long, everyone had finished running. Mengqi, Zhong, and I rested where we were. Then I smiled and asked, are you to playing badminton later? The two of them shook their heads and softly said, we will just sit here for a while. But while the three of us rested, everyone was stunned by what I did. Clearly, Mengqi and Zhong were both the kind of girls burdened with negative labels. They were not unattractive, but they lacked a feminine charm. Just then, Xiaoyou suddenly smiled and said, why not invite them over to play with us? She then invited Mengqi and Zhong to come play shuttlecock with them. Meanwhile, I used the time to post the earlier chapters of my novel on Second High's forum, and update it with another new chapter. As I wrote, I suddenly looked up, and saw Mengqi and Zhong walking toward the school path with dark expressions. Mengqi was even wiping away tears as she walked, so I hurried after them, about to ask what had happened. But Mengqi's flushed face was full of hurt as she glanced at me. Without saying a word, she ran straight toward the classroom building. Zhong bit her lip helplessly and ran after her. Before leaving, she turned back and shouted at me, it is because of you. Completely baffled, I chased after her. I stopped Zhong and asked, explain it. Why is she crying? Zhong sighed, then glanced once more at the girls in the distance, playing shuttlecock. They saw you buy us drinks earlier. They were just talking about it. I only said you had not bought it for me, but for Mengqi. Then they immediately started teasing us. They said you were actually pursuing Mengqi, that your taste was awful, and that you had such strange preferences. They said it was like a flower stuck in a pile of manure. The corner of my mouth twitched. I asked in disbelief, who said that? Who said a flower was stuck in manure? Calling me manure? Zhong bit her lip and softly said, they meant you were the flower. I could not help laughing as I snapped, who said it? Tell me. Zhu did. Xiaoyou said she never expected Lin Yifei to have such bad taste. Then Zhu said it was a flower stuck in manure. Fine, you go upstairs first. I will make Zhu apologize. Then I walked straight toward the girls playing shuttlecock. When they saw me approach, Xiaoyou and the other girls seemed to know why I was there. Xiaoyou gave an awkward smile and said, sorry. I think we made Mengqi cry. I took a deep breath and said seriously, apologize. Though I doubt you can bring yourselves to say it. Then you and Zhu can write her apology notes. Xiaoyou froze for a moment. I have to write one too. Xiaoyou protested, a little jealous. I will not. Why should I? I glared at her and snapped. I said apologize. Do I have to start cursing at you? Xiaoyou jumped in fright. She was completely stunned. Even the girls in the distance, playing shuttlecock, stood there wide-eyed. No one expected me to lose my temper so badly. Xiaoyou's eyes reddened, and she began to cry. She squatted down on the ground, crying as she wiped away her tears. The boys who saw this began to stir. Seeing this, Yansong immediately ran over. What is wrong? Why are you crying? Did he bully you? Xiaoyou shook her head as she cried, then stood up and said, what business is it of yours? She shot me one last glare, then turned and left. Zheng Yansong's mouth twitched. Pointing at me, he shouted, "Do not leave after school." That afternoon, the atmosphere in class became very strange. Everyone was whispering, especially during the final study period before school let out. Zhang Shiki passed Mengqi a note. I heard Lin Yifei yelled at Xiaoyou until she cried. Zheng Yansong says he will have people beat him up after school. Seeing those words, Mengqi nervously bit her lip. Then she glanced at me beside her and whispered, "Lin Yifei, look at this." Mengqi's eyes were full of worry. Biting her lip, she softly said, "I am sorry. Maybe we should tell a teacher." I frowned and replied, "No. If we tell a teacher, they will definitely drag you into it too. I do not want you getting involved." It was easy to imagine what would happen if Xiaoyou, Mengqi, and Zheng Yansong were all called away by a teacher. Even if the matter seemed settled, the gossip among our classmates would only grow more outrageous. After all, in my previous life, at first high school, I had already experienced it once. Cruel gossip really can shatter a vulnerable person's emotional defenses, much less someone like Mengqi, who was already a little insecure to begin with. There was no way I would put her in the spotlight. Little rich girl Mengqi looked at me, hurt and frightened. Finally, she wrote a few words on paper and passed it over. "I will go apologize to him." I rolled my eyes at her. Then I wrote back, "Do not go. I have a plan. For these so-called off-campus student brawls, the simplest and most direct approach is to make them see that I was tougher than they were, so they back off." A faint smile touched my lips. I passed her another note. "Do you have any money? Lend me some. I will pool some cash and hire people." But no one expected that. 2 minutes later, I received her transfer. I stared wide-eyed at the amount. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. It was a total of 286,751 yuan. I was completely dumbfounded. So this was the legendary little rich girl. A senior in high school actually had that much money. Is that enough? If not, I can ask my mom for more. It is enough. I clutched my head and laughed. This is freaking incredible. Then I went straight to my contact list and looked through it. In the end, I decided it was better to just call Sunfei. Someone is planning to beat me up after school. Tell your cousin. Have him gather some people for me. Tell them to come to the gate of second high after school today. 300 yuan per person. Another 500 if they have to fight. Sunfei was instantly dumbfounded. What is going on? Weren't you supposed to be such a badass at second high? Then I transferred him 30,000 yuan. Holy crap, 30,000 yuan? Are you freaking calling 100 people? After confirming everything with Sunfei, the corner of my mouth lifted. I instinctively looked up at Zheng Yansong in the distance. He seemed to be staring at me too. Then the final bell rang. Quite a few people instinctively turned to look at me in the back. Even Xiaoyou, the English class representative, could not help walking over. With mixed emotions, she took hold of me and led me to the back of the classroom, whispering, "Maybe you should not go out yet. Zheng Yansong has people waiting for you outside the school." Xiaoyou shook her head anxiously. "I am sorry. I talked to him, but he insists on coming after you. Or if you cannot handle it, just apologize to him. Someone was already beaten up before because of this." I laughed. "What? Are you worried about me? You live in the dorms too, right? Just remember to apologize to Mengqi during evening study hall." With that, I swaggered out of the classroom. Seeing she could not persuade me, Xiaoyou could only turn to Mengqi and plead, "I am sorry. I did not know this would happen. Could you talk to him? Tell him not to go out through the school gate yet, or he really will get beaten up." Xiaoyou crouched beside Mengqi's desk, frightened as she begged her for help. Mengqi shook her head. She answered seriously, "I trust him." Xiaoyou was so frustrated she was nearly in tears. "No, this is not about trusting him or not. Lin Yifei cannot possibly beat those guys. Zheng Yansong called a whole bunch of people. I admit I should not have said those things about you two. I was just a little jealous, okay? But I really do not want to see Lin Yifei get beaten up by them. Aren't you close to him? Talk him out of it." Mengqi hesitated. In the end, she shook her head and murmured, "Actually, he called people too." At that, Xiaoyou grew even more anxious and angry. Holding her head, she muttered, "Then, what do we do?" She gritted her teeth, ready to report it to the teacher's office. But Mengqi unexpectedly gathered her courage and said, "You cannot go." He said not to tell the teachers. At that moment, little rich girl Mengqi's eyes suddenly turned very serious. If this had happened before, she would not have known how to handle it either. But now, she felt she should trust me. If they told the teachers now, all my preparations would be for nothing. Xiaoyou anxiously explained. Are you crazy? If this really blows up, Lin Yifei might get expelled again. Little rich girl when Mengqi took a deep breath. In a calm voice, she said, that is why we need to trust him. We cannot tell the teachers. Xiaoyou's mouth fell slightly open. She looked at Mengqi in disbelief. For an instant, it all felt like a dream. At that moment, on the road by the school gate, several classmates nearby were whispering among themselves. Hey, aren't you scared to walk out there now? I remember those guys in Yansong hang out together all the time. I immediately laughed. Where is Yansong? No idea. I think he went to the office to ask a teacher about homework. Somewhat surprised, I said, creating an alibi. Liu Xiang doubled over laughing. You are pretty smart. Haha, just what you would expect from the top student. But seriously, just swallow your pride and admit you were wrong. You are classmates, so there is no need to make things this tense. What do you say? I can talk to Yansong for you. With one hand in my pocket, I said nothing. I just walked straight toward the school gate. Soon, I spotted them outside the school gate. Several electric scooters and motorcycles parked along the roadside. 7 or 8 guys who looked like punks were outside smoking. Liu Xiang patted my shoulder and said with a grin, I am off. Bye, good luck. Sure enough, the moment Liu Xiang left, those smoking punks turned their eyes toward me. The punks exchanged grins. Then one of them, with dyed blonde hair, walked toward me. Hey, you, come here. The students leaving school nearby were startled. They quickly backed away, not daring to come near me. The blonde-haired guy smoked as he slung an arm over my shoulders and said, You are that transfer student from senior class 4, right? I raised an eyebrow slightly, sizing up the group. They were really just those vocational school kids who never bothered going to class. They were only a few years older than me. They rode battered electric scooters and scooter-style mopeds, blocking people outside the school gate. I could not help laughing. With a smile, I said, Yeah, did Yansong send you? The blonde-haired guy shook his head and laughed. Come on, we just want to talk. Honestly, if an ordinary high schooler ran into this, they really would be scared stiff, especially with dyed hair and tattoos, and cigarettes in their mouths. 2 of them even carried water pipes and iron rods. They did look intimidating, but to someone who had been reborn, they seemed almost ridiculous. So I laughed and said, This is all you brought. I thought you had called in a real crowd. The blonde-haired guy sneered. Wei Wang, this kid says there aren't a few of us. The other punks mocked me. Who do you think you are? Who are you trying to impress? We are not enough for you. The words had barely left their mouths when Sun Fei's cousin muttered as he walked over from the bus stop. Is it over there? Move, move. At that moment, a large group of street toughs waiting at the bus stop surged toward me, and the few punks surrounding us, the students nearby, even parents who had come to pick up their children, were frozen in fear. They hurriedly shielded their children behind them. Even the security guard at the school gate was bewildered. Trembling, he pulled out his phone and called the school administration. The punks Yansong had called over were completely dumbfounded. Brother 6, it is just these few kids. They are just a few damn kids. Did you need to call so many of us? I thought it was something serious, with such a huge turnout, but it turned out to be a few dropouts, blocking someone outside a school gate. Brother 6 had seen my photo. He immediately laughed and said, You are Yifei, right? Just these guys? I had also seen Sun Fei's cousin's photo earlier, so I replied, I did not expect there to be only this many either. I thought there would be at least 10 or 20. The guy who said he wanted to beat me up deliberately went to ask a teacher about homework, so he is not even here. Handle them however you see fit. Both sides are outsiders anyway. If anyone asks, just say you were passing by. Brother 6 chuckled. All right, you head home first. At once, they surrounded those young punks. Who sent you? Come on, do not block the school gate. Let us talk over there. Then dozens of men dragged those punks aside to teach them a lesson. Just then, the school's dean of discipline, Liu Xiaoping, rushed to the school gate. He found no one outside. What is going on? Did you not say people were fighting at the school gate? The school's security guard swallowed hard. Yes, it looked like a student was dragged over there. Then, just as I was about to see what was happening, another huge group suddenly rushed over. They took those guys who looked like school dropouts away. They seemed to head left. Dean Liu Xiaoping sucked in a sharp breath and asked, Did any of our students get beaten up? The The guard shook his head. I do not think so. That student seemed to leave afterward. Hearing that, Dean Liu Xiaoping finally breathed a sigh of relief. He immediately sent a message in the school's homeroom teachers group chat. Second high school homeroom teachers group. Outsiders are loitering and fighting at the school gate. Ask whether anyone in your class knows what happened. See if anyone was hurt. If so, notify me immediately. At once, every homeroom teacher at second high privately messaged students in their class groups for details. During evening study hall that night, senior class were erupted. Someone hiding by the school gate had taken photos of the blonde-haired guy dragging me away. Then a huge crowd rushed out behind them, scaring those punks so badly they pissed themselves. That is freaking awesome. I thought Lin Yifei was finished. Who would have thought he was the real boss? He called in dozens of people, and they were all adults. The whole class excitedly talked about it, and instantly looked up to me. Everyone used to think Zheng Yansong was tough. After all, in his junior year, he had called people to fight students from another class outside the school gate. Who would have thought the top student who transferred from first high would be even more badass? Xiaoyou sighed. She wrote a note and tossed it to Zheng Yansong. After Zheng Yansong read it, he was so furious that he slammed his book down. That evening during study hall, Zheng Yansong was called to the teacher's office where he was made to stand and write a self-criticism. Then, among the students in the study hall, someone suddenly shouted, "Look, that novel from first high, Xiaoyou drops out. His novel has been posted on second high's forum. Hey, that username looks familiar. He says he transferred from first high to second high, so he will update on second high's forum from now on." A crowd of girls instantly got excited. Zhang Shiqi's eyes widened in disbelief. She turned to look at Mengqi, seated behind her, and whispered, "The author of that novel says he transferred from first high to second high." Then she instinctively glanced at the empty seat beside Mengqi. She expected Mengqi to be shocked, but Mengqi simply nodded. Zhang Shiqi blurted out in shock, "It really is Lin Yifei." As soon as she said it, everyone in the classroom instinctively looked over. The room immediately erupted. Did Lin Yifei really write it? Oh my god, did he not say his classmate wrote it? Wait, was he not the only one who transferred from first high? Xiaoyou smiled. Then it has to be him. Xiaoyou and Mengqi met each other's eyes, as if confirming something. But just then, Zheng suddenly hurried over to Xiaoyou. She whispered, "What should we do? Should we go apologize?" Even Zheng Yansong could not handle him. "Will Lin Yifei send people to beat us up?" Xiaoyou sighed and replied, "No, but you should still apologize. Write a several hundred-word apology letter." Zheng immediately nodded. She hurriedly took out her notebook, tore out a page, and began writing her apology. After the first evening study period, Zheng nervously approached Mengqi. She stammered, I am sorry. I should not have said those things about you today." With that, she handed over the apology letter. Xiaoyou also said seriously, "I am sorry too, but I have already made up my mind." Hearing that, Zheng froze. Mengqi also looked up at her blankly. Gathering her courage, Xiaoyou smiled and said, "Let us compete fairly. We will see who can win Lin Yifei over." Zhang Shiqi's mouth fell open in shock. She stared at the two girls, utterly stunned. Mengqi was dumbfounded too. She had never imagined that a boy like me could ever like her. She suddenly felt dizzy, as if she were riding in a spaceship. The next day, I returned to school. The moment I walked down the campus path, I was already the center of attention. Students along the way whispered among themselves and kept glancing at me, but no one dared to greet me first. When I arrived at the school cafeteria, I happened to run into my classmate, Liu Xiang. Liu Xiang swallowed awkwardly. "Brother Fei, sorry. I mean, Zheng Yansong and I are not actually that close. Really, I tried to talk him out of it yesterday, but he would not listen." Liu Xiang had heard all about it. The people Zheng Yansong called in yesterday not only failed to teach me a lesson, they got taught a lesson themselves. I replied with an amused smile, "That is not what you were saying yesterday." After that, he kept calling me Brother Fei at every turn as he hovered around me. He even praised my novel from time to time. Does that spaceship have something like demon warlocks or high's monsters? I thought. This guy is certainly something. What kind of anime fantasy creatures are those? I could not be bothered with him. When I returned to the classroom, my classmates immediately surrounded me. Yes, I admit it, all right. I wrote the novel," I said with a grin, then went back to my seat. The moment I sat down, I was surprised to find a serving of fried rice noodles and a bottle of milk on my desk. I poked Zhang Shiki, who sat in front of me. Who put this here? Zhang Shiki glanced at the seat of the English class representative, which was empty. She probably bought it for you. Just then, when Mengqi came in carrying a bag of breakfast and several textbooks, as soon as she sat down, I took the fried rice noodles and milk and placed them in Mengqi's hands. Then I took the fried rice noodles she had bought in exchange and smiled. Let us trade breakfasts. Mengqi frowned. Why? I explained with a straight face. I want yours. The one you bought smells better. Mengqi paused blankly. She had no idea why the one she bought supposedly smelled better. But she simply said, oh, they were both fried rice noodles anyway, so it did not matter. And do not waste the milk. Here, take a sip. Then I personally held the milk to Mengqi's lips. She gave me a strange look, then suddenly seemed to understand. You do not want to pay me back. After thinking it over, she reached a conclusion. This deskmate of hers wanted to make off with all her savings. Otherwise, why would he be so attentive first thing in the morning? I burst out laughing. Classmate Wen, do you really think I am that kind of person? I admit I am not exactly a good guy, but I would never take advantage of you. Do not worry. I will pay you back. Just not right now. Mengqi said plaintively. That was all my Lunar New Year money. My living expenses for this month were in there too. How about this? I will cover all your expenses for the time being. All right. Then I will pay you back with interest. Mengqi frowned. Really? From now on, use my meal card. And then, I will set you up with a family card on WeChat. And add some money. Is 3,000 yuan a month enough? Mengqi shook her head. That is too much. 600 yuan is enough. I rolled my eyes now. You have to spend 1,000 yuan every month. If you do not spend it all, you fail. Girls should learn how to spend money. You are far too frugal. With that, I added a family card to Mengqi's WeChat account. I set the monthly limit at 1,000 yuan. Mengqi blankly said, oh, then I will try it. This little rich girl was really making me laugh. Then our homeroom teacher, Liang Yuding, called Zheng Yansong and me out of the classroom. The other students secretly watched the hallway outside the back door from the corners of their eyes. Liang Yuding stood there with a stern expression. You both know why I called you out, right? I smiled. Ma'am, I really did not fight. Yesterday was my cousin's birthday. If you do not believe me, ask Zheng Yansong. Zheng Yansong and I are best buddies. Why would we fight? Zheng Yansong was dumbfounded. He was completely stunned. Best buddies? Liang Yuding glanced at Zheng Yansong and asked, you tell me. Zheng Yansong parted his lips slightly, struggling for a long while, before managing one word. Yes. Liang Yuding was so annoyed that she laughed. Fine. Best buddies, right? Then should I seat you two together? The moment she finished speaking, we answered almost in unison. No. Liang Yuding folded her arms helplessly. Aren't you best buddies? Why are you unwilling now? I smiled. We are mainly worried it would affect our studies. We would definitely chat all through class if we sat together. Liang Yuding looked me over. I certainly did not look like I had been beaten. And Zheng Yansong was even more obvious. Apparently, yesterday this kid had stayed with the math teacher and refused to leave, forcing himself through an entire test paper. He definitely had not been beaten either. Fine. I will not notify your parents about this for now. But Lin Yifei, and you too, Zheng Yansong, if I hear about you two clashing again, or even calling people from outside school, do not bother explaining yourselves to me then. Go explain it directly to the dean's office. Understood? I replied with a smile. Understood, ma'am. Oh, right, ma'am, about that English-speaking contest you mentioned. I want to enter. Liang Yuding took a deep breath, then waved Zheng Yansong away. Go back to morning study first. Then Liang Yuding pulled me aside and asked, tell me, usually, does Zheng Yansong target you in class? Did he force you not to tell the teachers? Then I told her about what happened at the school gate, and filled her in on every detail. Liang Yuding was instantly baffled. And you call that best buddies? Before returning to class, I did not forget to tell the teacher how to report the matter to school leadership. Just say those people yesterday were there for my cousin's birthday and happened to pass by the school gate. I immediately made Liang Yuding laugh. Then I casually said, ma'am, you look beautiful when you smile. How could Liang Yuding possibly resist this kid's silver tongue? She gave me a playful kick and laughed. Go on, get back to morning study. Honestly, every single day with you. Clearly, my sweet talk had won the teacher over. She did not pursue the matter between us any further. Liang Yuding then stood at the front of the class. Tomorrow is the joint exam between for schools. I will hand out your exam permits this afternoon. Keep them safe. Also, about the English-speaking contest. Only 3 students have signed up so far, so there is no need for tryouts. Lin Yifei, Shen Xinyu, Zhang Shiki. You 3 can start preparing on your own. Oh, and for the New Year's variety show, every class needs at least 2 performances. Anyone planning a performance, see the arts representative to register. Meanwhile, a classroom at First High was in an uproar. Have you heard? That novel, which was being updated at First High a while ago, is now updating on Second High's forum. They say it was written by a transfer student. I asked some people from Second High. They said there is only 1 transfer student in senior year. Could it be Lin Yifei? The chatter abruptly stopped. Vice Principal Gur Haibo was standing at the classroom's back door. When he heard what everyone was discussing, he frowned and said, "Who posted that novel from First High's forum onto Second High's forum?" The entire class was instantly dumbfounded. They looked at one another, each waiting for someone else to answer. Gur Haibo asked sternly, "Where is the class president?" Class President Chen stood up. He gave a bitter smile. "Principal, I do not know either. I do not even know who wrote it." Vice Principal Gur Haibo retorted in surprise. "You do not know? Then why did someone tell me it was written by a student from your class?" At those words, the whole class erupted. Could it really be Lin Yifei? Class President Chen scratched his head and smiled. "Principal, that novel is updating on Second High's forum, and it says the author transferred there from First High. If the writer is from our class, then it should be Lin Yifei." Vice Principal Gur Haibo froze for a moment. "Your homeroom teacher told me he had found that student. He said the novel might affect his college entrance exam results, so he had stopped the updates." Everyone shook their heads. Just then, Sunfei suddenly stood up and said, "Principal, Lin Yifei wrote it. Back then, I heard that officials from the Education Bureau had praised his novel, so I asked about it. But later, our homeroom teacher told us to stay out of it, and that was the end of it." Vice Principal Gur Haibo's expression immediately darkened. He said sternly, "I understand. Continue your morning study." With that, he left the classroom. The moment the vice principal's footsteps faded, Senior Year Class 2 burst into excited uproar. A crowd surrounded Sunfei. Lin Yifei really wrote it. At that moment, homeroom teacher Song Wenbo was sorting test papers in the office. Suddenly, Vice Principal Gur Haibo walked in. The teachers in the office all looked up. Gur Haibo stood in the office doorway. His mood clearly foul as he said, "Class's homeroom teacher, come out here." The 2 then went outside the office to speak privately. "What? You are saying that novel is updating on Second High's forum?" Song Wenbo shuddered all over. Cold sweat broke out across his body. He had thought that once the account was banned, he would have no way to keep updating it. Who would have thought that kid would simply move to Second High's forum and keep updating? Vice Principal Gur Haibo said with a grim face, "Did you not say you had spoken with the student's parents? That he stopped updating because it was affecting his studies? Then why are students in your class saying it was written by the student who withdrew from school?" Song Wenbo smiled awkwardly. "Well, Gur Haibo could not hold back any longer. Song Wenbo, do not think I do not know. You did it on purpose. You did not dare say it was written by the student who argued with you, and then withdrew from school. Did you? What exactly are you afraid of? So what if he wrote that novel? Why could you not just say so? You have put me in an impossible position. How am I supposed to answer for this? I specifically told the officials from the Education Bureau that he was prioritizing his studies, so he had temporarily stopped updating. In a few days, officials from the Education Bureau will be visiting Second High to observe classes. Do you not know what is at stake right now? First High, Second High, Experimental High, and Washi are all competing for the provincial key model school designation. We absolutely cannot leave the officials with a bad impression of us. Find a way to make that student take down the novel immediately, or get him to return and update it on First High's forum." Song Wenbo's mouth fell slightly open. He was utterly stunned. Vice Principal Gur Haibo said gravely, "Song Wenbo, I recall you are applying for senior teacher status this year, correct? If this matter turns First High into a laughingstock, you know how serious the consequences will be. Hurry and deal with it while not many people know yet. Handle it immediately. Either he returns to update on First High's forum, or make him stop updating altogether." Otherwise, would that not be humiliating? We would have been better off saying from the start that an outsider wrote it. Song Wenbo gritted his teeth. Vice Principal Gur, I was wrong about this. Do not worry. I will not let First Hai lose face because of me. Only then did Vice Principal Gur Haibo nod in satisfaction. He clasped his hands behind his back, then turned and left. During third period, homeroom teacher Song Wenbo addressed the students below. Before class, I need to discuss something with everyone. Which of you is close to Lin Yifei? The students immediately looked at one another. They exchanged glances. Finally, Sun Fei raised his hand and smiled. Sir, I know him fairly well. Someone else quietly muttered, Chen Sirou. Song Wenbo's eyes suddenly lit up. Right, Chen Sirou? Aren't you fairly close with Lin Yifei? Help me ask him. Why that novel? Suddenly stopped updating on First Hai's forum. Can you get him to return to First Hai's forum, instead of writing on Second Hai's forum? Chen Sirou answered hesitantly. Sir, but he attends Second Hai now. Isn't it perfectly normal for him to update there? Why should he come back to First Hai? Song Wenbo smiled. Try talking him into it. Tell him all his classmates love reading it. Aren't you friends? He can write it anywhere, can he? As I was studying diligently in class, I suddenly received a message from Sun Fei. Ha ha ha. This is going to be entertaining. The principal came to our class today to ask about your novel. Then our homeroom teacher asked Chen Sirou to contact you and get you to return to First Hai to update it. A little friend drops out of school. I replied teasingly. I already removed Chen Sirou from my contacts. No wonder Chen Sirou was stammering. She was probably too embarrassed to admit you had deleted her. Ha ha ha. That is hilarious. Sure enough, not long after, I received a friend request. Chen Sirou has requested to add you as a friend. Without a second thought, I rejected it. I even deliberately turned to the little rich girl beside me when Mengqi and smiled. Do not forget you are treating me to a movie on Saturday. When Mengqi explained pitifully, I have no money left. I laughed until my stomach hurt. She was just adorably clueless. I will treat you, all right. When Mengqi suddenly shook her head. No, don't I have that family card? I promised I would treat you. When Mengqi stared blankly for a moment, as if she could not quite process it. More than 10 minutes into class, the little rich girl, when Mengqi, suddenly muttered to herself, wait, that is not right. Using the family card does not count as me treating you, unless I pay for the tickets with my own money. I slumped over my desk, unable to stop grinning. Little rich girl, when Mengqi was simply too adorable. Lin Yifei. What are you laughing at? The chemistry teacher at the front could not help calling me out. Only then did I remember class was still in session. I immediately stood and said with a smile, Sir, I just thought of something that made me happy. When Mengqi's face had turned bright red, she knew I was laughing at her and immediately hid her face. Sir, I was working on a chemistry problem. It said BA plus to an A equals banana. So I was wondering, have I discovered some secret? The moment I finished speaking, the entire class burst out laughing. The chemistry teacher then scolded me. Pay attention in class from now on. Save extracurricular problems for your free time. At last, it was time for lunch. The moment class ended, Shen Xinyu ran over to my desk and asked, Did you reject her friend request? I froze for a moment, then immediately understood. Chen Sirou came to you? Shen Xinyu clicked her tongue and laughed. You are so cold-hearted. She said she needs to talk to you. Just add her back. I replied coldly. There is no need. Come on, Wen. Let's go get lunch. The little rich girl, when Mengqi, gave a soft "oh." Then she followed behind me. Shen Xinyu was left dumbfounded. It was the first time anyone had ignored her so directly. Zhu Jin walked over and said with a smile, Come on, stop staring. Maybe that is just his type. While standing in the cafeteria line, I was deciding what to eat. Then I suddenly noticed the little rich girl, when Mengqi, with her big, watery eyes fixed on me. What's wrong? Nobody bullied you. Not knowing whether to laugh or cry, I glanced at Zhang Shiki beside me and asked, Why is she suddenly acting like this? Zhang Shiki shook her head. When Mengqi suddenly asked softly and uneasily, Was the girlfriend you dated before your last ex really pretty? I snorted with laughter. Oh, are you jealous? When Mengqi bit her lip and said nothing, she stared at me with wounded eyes. The three of us then found a corner and chatted while we ate. By the way, are you signing up for the school talent show? When Mengqi looked at me curiously as well. After a few seconds of silence, I smiled and said, Sure, I can sign up. Zhang Shiki suddenly said to me, Let me tell you a secret. When Mengqi won first prize at last year's talent show, I was somewhat surprised when she finished. When Mengqi immediately shook her head shyly, signaling Zhang Shiki not to say any more. Zhang Shiki smiled. What are you afraid of? This is one of your strengths. She then revealed when Mengqi's secret. She had a special talent for piano. After lunch, we talked a little more about the talent show. Then I said with a smile, then I will volunteer to sign up. Meanwhile, Chen Sirou went to the teacher's office. Sir, I am sorry. Lin Yifei deleted me from his friends list. He ignored my friend request too. Why don't you call and talk to him yourself? Homeroom teacher Song Wenbo was dumbstruck. You are classmates. You should be able to talk to him more easily than I can. Weren't you close with him? Chen Sirou lowered her voice, her face red. Sir, that was before. Song Wenbo patiently tried to persuade her. Listen, boys are actually easy to placate. Just apologize and say a few nice things. How about this? Treat him to a meal, and I will pay for it. After all, I am partly responsible for Lin Yifei leaving school. I did not handle things properly at the start. Chen Sirou protested, sounding aggrieved. Sir, then why are you unwilling to call Lin Yifei? Couldn't you just tell him yourself? Song Wenbo was instantly stunned. His mouth hung slightly open. He wanted to say something, but no words came out. Chen Sirou suddenly gathered her courage and said, Sir, is it because you cannot swallow your pride? Song Wenbo's face darkened instantly. What nonsense are you talking about? You can go back to class. Chen Sirou immediately replied. All right, I will go back. Yet the moment the student left the office, Song Wenbo immediately regretted it. He smacked his forehead. What a mess. Song Wenbo gritted his teeth. At last, he found the student contact list on his computer. He stared at the phone number, but could not bring himself to press call. After hesitating again and again, he could only summon my deskmate Sun Fei. Sun Fei came into the office and stood straight before him. Song Wenbo forced a smile and said, Weren't you Lin Yifei's deskmate before? You two should be pretty close. See if you can talk to him. Could you ask him not to post that novel on Second High's forum anymore? Tell him to update it on First High's forum instead. Or better yet, wait until after the college entrance exams to write it. Song Wenbo said with a shameless smile. I am mainly worried this will affect his studies. Sun Fei knowingly asked, Sir, he has already transferred schools. Why are you still worried about his grades? And if he writes it on First High's forum, wouldn't that affect his studies too? Song Wenbo awkwardly cleared his throat. Then he continued with a smile. That is definitely different. Just tell me, can you help your teacher? Talk to Lin Yifei. Sun Fei pressed his lips together and said, I can, sir. But, Song Wenbo's eyes immediately lit up. But what? Go on. Sun Fei deliberately scratched his head and smiled. I still owe him money. I feel awkward about contacting him first. Song Wenbo waved it off with a smile. That is nothing. What is the big deal? How much do you owe him? I will pay it for you. Sun Fei asked in disbelief. Really? Song Wenbo thought it over. This concerned First High's reputation, and it also affected the official sign-off on his senior teacher application. He immediately smiled generously. Of course. Besides, I am asking you for a favor too. How much do you owe? Sun Fei lowered his head, rubbed his nose, and smiled. It is not much, really. Just 400 yuan. Song Wenbo gritted his teeth. Fine. I will cover the 400 yuan. Talk to Lin Yifei for me. It would be best. I mean, ideally. He should wait until after the college entrance exams to write this novel. Even though he has transferred schools. As a teacher, I still worry it will hurt his exam preparation. After all, this concerns a crucial stage of his life. Holding back his laughter, Sun Fei said, I can try, sir, but I cannot guarantee anything. Maybe we should forget it. I will pay him back once I have the money. Song Wenbo immediately pulled out his phone and said generously, Come on, show me your payment code. As long as you help me persuade him, you will not have to repay this money. But you have to really try. This truly affects his studies too much. Sun Fei grinned and said, Sir, there is really no need. I will pay you back. Song Wenbo smiled and said, No need. I keep my word. All right, I will give it a try. Song Wenbo really did transfer him for 100 yuan right away. Sir, I will head back to class first. When Lin Yifei replies, I will let you know. All right, go back to class. The instant Sun Fei stepped out of the office, he immediately sent me a message. Haha, I hit the jackpot. You might not believe this, but Song Wenbo gave me for 100 yuan to persuade you to stop writing that novel. Looks like Song Wenbo really is desperate. The corner of my mouth lifted slightly. I muttered, "Tonight, I need to post a new chapter to celebrate." When I got home that night, everyone was studying, preparing for tomorrow's joint exam between for schools. But I was figuring out how to open a shop on Douyin. I remembered that in a few years, online shopping and e-commerce would explode. Opening an online store now might not make me the first to profit, but I could still get in early enough. At least I would enter the market before online shopping surged and battered brick and mortar businesses. As for what to sell, I was not planning to build a long-term brand. I wanted to make a fortune in the short term. So I chose a very niche and often overlooked market, selling monster-themed lingerie. But I was still a student, so I had to keep it discreet. Luckily, I had turned 18 just last month, meeting the ID requirement to open a store. Suddenly, Sun Fei messaged me. "Holy crap, Lin Yifei, your account got hacked." Haha, no it did not. I am planning to open a shop and sell this stuff. No. You were definitely hacked. Because in Sun Fei's mind, I was the ultimate clueless straight guy, and I was a top science student. No matter what, he could never imagine me sending him pictures of monster-themed lingerie. Most outrageous of all, I actually said I wanted to sell it. The main reason was that I really did not have many truly close friends right then. So I simply sent him the lingerie photos and asked Sun Fei to help pick out the products. It was not until 10:30 that night that I finally selected the samples and uploaded all the product photos. Then I worked through practice papers for a while and went to sleep. Early the next morning, I arrived in the classroom. Soon, the proctor came in too. Liu Xiang suddenly smiled at me and said, "By the way, Brother Fei, how are you at Chinese? Pretty good, right? If nothing unexpected happens, I should rank first in the grade." Liu Xiang gave me a thumbs up and smiled. But before he finished speaking, a familiar voice suddenly rang out. "First in the grade. Just do not let me catch you cheating." I looked up and froze. The proctor was Liu Qing, First High's Director of Academic Affairs. Only then did I remember that this joint exam involved teachers from all four schools, proctoring one another's students. "All right, put away your books and all your study materials. If I catch anyone with cheat sheets, copying, or cheating, I will confiscate your exam paper immediately." I do not know how things work at Second High, but at First High, cheating also means your parents get notified. After saying that, Liu Qiang did not forget to shoot me a glance. Once I got my paper, I immediately started writing. In the blink of an eye, more than in our past. "Sir, may I turn in my paper early?" I smiled faintly and raised my hand to ask. I glanced at the clock on the classroom wall. There were still 45 minutes left. There was no reason to waste time sitting here. Liu Qiang smiled. "It is still early. Remember, everyone, you cannot turn in your papers until the final 30 minutes of the college entrance exam." Still, I waited until the 30-minute mark and turned in my paper early. Liu Qiang, First High's Director of Academic Affairs, took my paper, then pulled me aside outside to talk. Liu Qiang frowned and asked, "Did you write that novel on First High's forum? I never heard you had that kind of talent. Why did you never show it before?" I smiled slightly, "Director. I heard the Education Bureau officials even praised me. Be sure to tell them I am at Second High now." Liu Qiang's face immediately darkened. "A few compliments and you are already full of yourself. Let me tell you, your priority for the college entrance exam should still be studying. All day long, you just fool around with pointless nonsense. It is a complete waste of time." I slowly replied, Yes. Everything you say is right, Dean. If there is nothing else, I will be going. I can head back and write 2 chapters of my novel. Maybe the Education Bureau officials are waiting for my next update." Liu Qiang was so furious he practically exploded. I had brought up exactly the one thing he did not want to hear. After watching me leave, he immediately pulled out his phone and messaged First High's homeroom teacher, Song Wenbo. "Your student is going to drive me to an early grave. He writes some trashy novel and thinks he is something special. Deal with him now." Song Wenbo replied, "Dean, I have been thinking, since he will not delete it when we ask, why not hold a writing contest at school? First High has so many students. There has to be someone who can outwrite him, right? Once someone writes something better than his, would that not solve the problem?" Liu Qiang's eyes lit up. "That is an excellent idea. I will bring it up with the principal." And sure enough, First High acted quickly. After the Chinese exam, every homeroom teacher had already sent out the notice. Students could submit entries in the form of novels. There would be gold, silver, and bronze awards with medals presented by the principal himself. Outstanding works could be added to the school library's collection. Since the contest included all 3 grades, quite a few students eagerly joined in. They began writing on the school forum. Several students immediately started their own novels. I heard First High is holding some kind of writing competition. Zhang Shiki froze for a moment over her meal. She instinctively glanced at me beside Mengqi. I heard about it too. Haha, that is interesting. Then we chatted about the exams. You can prepare in advance. For an essay on environmental protection, I think there is a strong chance it will be tested. The news has been talking a lot about environmental protection lately, and things like recycling. Zhang Shiki could not help praising me. Wow, you are amazing. So everyone at First High can predict exam topics in advance. When Mengqi took out her phone while eating, I laughed teasingly. My predictions are usually accurate. I cannot say the same for everyone else. By the way, you promised to treat me to a movie tomorrow. Do not stand me up. That afternoon, we took the science and English exams. When the bell rang, the proctors began collecting papers. Everyone stood up, stretching lazily. After sitting all day, they were exhausted. Back in class, Zhang Shiki looked at me excitedly like I was her idol. The girls around her all cried out, "You are back, Lin Yifei." The English essay really was about environmental protection. I cannot believe you actually predicted it. I smiled with my lips pressed together. Just lucky, that is all. When Mengqi returned to the classroom too, she happily told Zhang Shiki how easily she had written her English essay. Just then, our English teacher and homeroom teacher returned to the classroom. Liang Yuding stood at the front and smiled. I will not give you English practice papers this weekend. Now, an announcement. I do not know if you have heard, but First High is holding a creative writing competition. As soon as she finished, many students in class deliberately turned to look at me in the back row. Our school will not be holding a writing competition. We are doing something else. There are just over 100 days until the college entrance exam. Our school is setting up study groups. Each group will have 4 people. We will try to select for students who excel in different subjects. You can help one another study, teaching your strongest subjects to your classmates. Just then, I raised my hand. Teacher, I have an idea. This study group plan is already used in many schools, but the results are not ideal. I suggest changing these 4-person groups. Let the groups be flexible in size, and let students teach lessons. If a lesson helps you, attend it. That way, everyone can use their strengths. While teaching others, they will reinforce their own knowledge, and students weak in a subject can choose more capable student teachers, rather than being limited to teachers in their own group. At those words, many students nodded. Just what you would expect from a top student. He got straight to the point. When school let out on Friday, laughter filled the air. Clearly, the coming weekend put everyone in a great mood. But what happened next surprised me. I never expected Mengqi, the little rich girl, to take the bus home. No wonder our classmates were stunned after graduation. No one knew her family was so wealthy. In the blink of an eye, it was Saturday morning. I had arranged to meet Mengqi that afternoon at Wanda Plaza. For this date, I came well prepared. I bought some milk teas and an elegant little bracelet as a gift. After a while, a familiar figure appeared in the distance. Mengqi, the little rich girl, wore a white dress with a small white handbag in her hand. At 5'4", she wore low heels. She looked exceptionally elegant, though she was barefaced and had not learned to use makeup, and still wore her glasses. You could already tell she was a budding beauty. It was my first time seeing her out of uniform. Mengqi, the little rich girl, asked shyly, "Do I look nice?" She nervously fidgeted with her fingers. I chuckled. "You look lovely. Here is the milk tea I bought you, and your gift." Mengqi shook her head. "Take it." I put the box directly into her hands. I smiled. "Open it and see. If you do not like it, I think you can exchange it." Only then did Mengqi carefully open the box. She froze instantly. I smiled. "What do you think? Let me put it on you." Mengqi stood there in a daze. Before she could react, the bracelet was already on her wrist. Then I took Mengqi's hand and led her into the mall. It was clearly Mengqi's first time holding hands with a boy. She shyly tried to pull away, but I held on to her in the end. She could only lower her head and obediently follow. As I led her along behind me, we made our way to the mall's 4th floor. Perhaps because it was the weekend, the movie theater was fairly crowded. "Wait here a moment. I will get the tickets. By the way, should we get some popcorn?" The moment I asked, I realized it was a pointless question. when Mengqi, the little rich girl, was already staring fixedly at the popcorn in a nearby child's hands, practically drooling. Just then, a familiar voice called out, "Lin Yifei." Sun Fei shouted excitedly. "What are you doing here?" I turned around and saw Sun Fei and First High classmates standing in line behind me. After chatting for a few minutes, I took the popcorn and orange juice back to Mengqi, the little rich girl. Then I smiled. "Let us go. Time to get our tickets checked." I just ran into some classmates from First High. At that, Mengqi froze in fright. She shyly ducked her head, afraid someone would see her. Seeing her adorably dazed expression, I nearly died laughing. Honestly, although Mengqi, the little rich girl, did not know how to apply makeup yet, she looked quite good naturally. It was only because of her personality that she was unpopular at school and in class. When Sun Fei and the others saw them, they started teasing. Wang Songtao even secretly took a picture and sent it to their class group chat. The group chat instantly came alive. Lin Yifei is such a scumbag. Did he not like Chen Sirou? How is he going to the movies with another girl? Then someone tagged Chen Sirou. Someone tagged Chen Sirou and sent her a message. Oh my god. Where was this taken? He used to like you. How could he change his heart after transferring schools? Chen Sirou said nothing. She only gritted her teeth and sent the picture to Shen Xinyu. Oh my god. Where was this taken? Some boys from our class ran into them at the theater and took it. Honestly, let me tell you, that girl is the kind everyone makes fun of in our class. I cannot believe it. Lin Yifei actually likes her. Then Shen Xinyu went on and on about everything between Mengqi and me, telling Chen Sirou all of it. At that moment, Mengqi, the little rich girl, and I were sitting in a corner of the theater. I leaned close to her ear and whispered, "Is this your first time going to the movies with a boy?" Mengqi nodded blankly. Then she munched on popcorn. "It is so good." Her innocent, dazed cuteness made me laugh. "Why had you never gone before? Did no one ask you out? Or would your family not allow it?" Mengqi hesitated. Then she silently mouthed, "They would not allow it." "So you snuck out today?" Mengqi bobbed her head like a pecking chick. She even put a finger to her lips and shushed me. "So, are you going home for dinner tonight?" Mengqi was stunned. Of course, she nodded. Then she suddenly made a nervous, defensive gesture, covering her chest with both hands and watching me warily. I burst out laughing. "I meant, will you eat out before going home? Or go home for dinner?" I was not asking whether you were going home tonight. Only then did Mengqi realize she had misunderstood. The tips of her ears instantly reddened. "Oh," she murmured softly. That little rich girl was just too adorable. Still, that was a good thing. At least she knew how to protect herself and would not be easily deceived by boys. By the time the movie ended, it was already 5:30. After parting ways with Mengqi, I did not go straight home. Instead, I messaged Sun Fei and arranged to eat nearby. I smiled. "I asked you here because I need a favor. Your cousin still works as an attendant at that internet cafe, right?" Sun Fei paused. "Huh? Do you need people again? Who did you offend this time?" I shook my head with a smile. "No, I have not offended anyone. I want people to place orders through my online store. That way, my store's sales figures will go up." Then I explained the commissions and process in detail. In the blink of an eye, the weekend was over. Sun Fei moved quickly, too. He immediately got more than 30 people involved. I worked from 3 in the afternoon until 7 that night. I was so exhausted that my head was spinning. Just as I wanted to rest for a while, I suddenly saw the class group chat explode. Our homeroom teacher, Liang Yuding, had sent a message. "Class, Zheng Yansong's grandmother was hospitalized with a brain hemorrhage, and his father was in a car accident last week. His family is having a difficult time. After looking into the situation, I hope everyone can lend a hand and help Zheng Yansong. Next week, I will go with the class president to visit Zheng Yansong's grandmother in the hospital." I paused. Then inspiration struck, and I smiled. Better to teach a man to fish than give him a fish. Donations probably would not amount too much, but he could earn some money by working for me. So I asked our homeroom teacher for Zheng Yansong's number. I called him to learn about his family situation and explained how he could make money. Once he understood, he was completely convinced. He immediately wanted to go into business with me. The next morning was spent reviewing papers from the 4-school joint exam. After lunch, someone suddenly tapped my shoulder. I looked up and saw my Chinese teacher, Wenxuan, standing at the classroom door. Wenxuan smiled. The 4-school joint exam results are out. You really did well, kid. Our second high school only had to perfect score essays. One of them was yours. And you placed 4th in Chinese. My eyes lit up as I began to speak. That is pretty good. But what if I did not take first place in the whole school? After all, I had bragged before, telling my teachers not to bother with me in class. Wenxuan gave me a knowing smile. Wait until the full results are out and see for yourself. By the way, are you sure you wrote that novel yourself? You did not plagiarize it, right? I nodded. Wenxuan smiled. It is fine. I just needed to confirm. The Education Bureau officials are coming to inspect tomorrow. Did First High School not hold a literary writing competition? Our school does not have one, but we are planning to form a literature club for the 11th grade to develop students' reading and writing skills. The principal wants to send you to take part in the open class as a model student representative. Share some thoughts on writing, how you started down the path of writing, and so on. The officials may also sit in on the open class. So, if you have time tomorrow, organize the plot of your novel and include a few excerpts. It will make your speech more convincing. I returned to the classroom. Zhang Shiki looked up curiously and asked, "What did the teacher want with you?" I smiled faintly. Nothing much. He just told me I placed 4th in the grade in Chinese. The students around me instantly crowded over excitedly. He also said our school only had to perfect score essays, and mine was one of them. Everyone looked at me with envy. By the way, Yifei, have you seen First High School's literary writing competition lately? It is hilarious. They set up a popularity poll. Do you know who came in first? Guru Yan's could not hold back his laughter. It is you. More precisely, your novel got the most votes. It completely crushed second place. Even the votes from 2nd through 10th place, combined, did not add up to as many as yours. Meanwhile, First High School's vice principal Guru Haibo was so furious he was huffing for breath in his office. He cursed at Song Wenbo over the phone. Look at what is happening online. Even combined, they do not have more votes than him alone. This is absolutely ridiculous. Homeroom teacher Song Wenbo checked online and was dumbfounded too. The 9 contestants behind him, combined, still could not match first place's votes. Song Wenbo said nervously. No, Vice Principal Guru. Listen to me. This ranking has to be inaccurate. It means nothing. Yifei left our school long ago. He does not meet our competition rules at all, so it has no value as a reference. Vice Principal Guru Haibo gave a mocking laugh. Song Wenbo, honestly, are you truly stupid or just pretending? Does that matter? Look at this. Is this acceptable? Immediately, I want to see a work that can rival Yifei's novel and knock him out of first place. Song Wenbo took a deep breath. Then an idea struck him. Wait, Vice Principal Guru, I just had an idea. What if we ask a teacher to write one? Then we can take back first place. What do you think? Vice Principal Guru Haibo hesitated. Then he asked, You want a teacher to write it? Song Wenbo smiled. Did Teacher Liu not publish a book before? He would have no problem writing one. Vice Principal Guru Haibo shook his head. No. Would that not be cheating? A teacher beating students would be indefensible. Song Wenbo smiled. Of course, Teacher Liu would not write it himself. Have him coach a student to write it. One-on-one coaching. Vice Principal Guru Haibo waved a hand. Forget it. There is no need to make a fuss. I imagine the officials already know about this. Kid transferring schools. After all, he wrote about it himself. Just remove him from the rankings. Then issue a formal statement afterward. Only students of this school may enter. Tied for first in the class. Tied for third in the grade. As expected of an academic ace from First High School. He took first place as soon as he arrived. Everyone looked at me with envy. Here are your English score sheets. The scores for every subject will be brought in by the teachers during class. But as your homeroom teacher, I have a surprise for you. The student ranked first in Chinese for the entire grade is in our class. The class immediately erupted with excitement. Zhang Shiki deliberately turned to look at me. I waved it off. Not me. I am 4th. But the next second, homeroom teacher Liang Yuding smiled. It is you, Yifei. Every student instantly turned to stare at me. Did he not just say he was 4th? Several students had heard what I said. Liang Yuding looked surprised. Who said he was 4th in the grade? One student said with a smile. The Chinese teacher passed by just now and seemed to say he was 4th. Hearing that, Liang Yuding immediately corrected them. He is 1st in the grade. Thunderous applause broke out. Even when Mengqi looked at me with admiration, I rubbed my nose and smiled. Just look. I could hardly tell them this was my second time taking it. Liang Yuding smiled. All right, when the Chinese teacher comes for class, she will go over Lin Yifei's perfect score essay with you. Meanwhile, in a classroom at First High School, the Chinese teacher was handing out exam papers. The students began chattering as they received them. Damn, you are incredible. You got 53 points on your essay. The Chinese teacher suddenly sighed. I honestly do not know what to say about this exam. I told you the essay topic beforehand. Yet so many of you still only got 45 or 48 points on the essay. The teacher suddenly turned to Sunfei. How did you do? Sunfei lowered his head awkwardly. Teacher, I did not do very well. What a waste. You used to share a desk with Lin Yifei. Sunfei explained. Lin Yifei was not good at Chinese either. Chinese teacher Liu Yan replied calmly. Well, there would be no need to care after he transferred schools. But he really is impressive. In this four-school joint exam, Lin Yifei placed 4th in Chinese, and he earned full marks on his essay. Sunfei stared in disbelief. No way. Teacher, I remember Lin Yifei being terrible at Chinese. Did he suddenly become a genius after going to second high school? Liu Yan rolled her eyes and smiled. Maybe he works harder at second high school than he did here. Sunfei did not know whether to laugh or cry. Working hard, my ass. He is always pulling all kinds of crap in the group chat, running an online store selling monster-themed lingerie, and taking female classmates to the movies on dates. When the bell for the final class rang, I stood by the stairwell and saw the rankings posted. In the hallway, Zhang Shiki and Mengqi stood beside it. Wow, that is amazing. First in the grade for Chinese, 3rd in math, and 3rd in English. Only combined science was a little weak. You are 10th in the grade overall, Zhang Shiki said enviously. It would be perfect if you could raise your combined science score a little. In my previous life, Chinese had been my weak subject. My strengths were combined science and math, while English was somewhere in between. But chemistry and biology in combined science required memorizing a great deal of factual knowledge. After graduation, I had completely forgotten it all. So after being reborn, managing to achieve this score was already pretty good. Still, my Chinese, math, and English scores far surpassed my old ones. When Mengqi pointed at her name, then tugged at me, signaling for me to take a look. Little rich girl when Mengqi ranked 41st in the grade. Her soft, fair little hand pointed at her combined science score. Then she looked at me with quiet pride, as if showing off. I smiled slightly. Oh, you did pretty well. Without thinking, I gently pinched Mengqi's nose and said, raise your scores a little. Do not go to the Modu Conservatory of Music. Go to the Yanjing Conservatory of Music instead. Then you will get to see me. Zhang Shiki asked in surprise. You are going to study in Yanjing? Which school are you applying to? I answered as if it were obvious. Tsinghua or Peking University, of course. When Mengqi asked blankly, how did you know I wanted to attend the Modu Conservatory of Music? From memories of my previous life, I clearly remembered that little rich girl had gone to the Modu Conservatory of Music. It was one of the country's top arts academies. But as someone reborn, I had to apply to one of the nation's most prestigious universities. Whether it was the degree, social circles, or my future prospects, everything would be completely different. Besides, the college entrance exam was what I was most confident about now. After that exam, I would lose my advantage instead. During my college years, I could still use my predictions of future developments to build a business. Once those years had passed, changing my life would become infinitely harder. That was why every day now was so important to me. Writing novels had originally seemed the safest route, since I knew which works would become popular. But memory alone might not let me perfectly recreate classic works. At that moment, I happened to have the little rich girl's funding. I realized e-commerce might be an easier shortcut to success. The next morning, as soon as I arrived at school, I received a call from my Chinese teacher, Wenxuan, telling me to come to his office. I hurried back to the classroom and put down my backpack, only to find, to my surprise, that on my desk, there was another breakfast waiting. Xiaoyou ran over with a cheerful smile. I bought one for you. Why did you buy one too? Then she deliberately leaned close to my ear with a smile. Xiaoyou giggled, then returned to her seat. Yesterday, she had happened to see Yansong post about packing parcels and shipping orders on social media, so she messaged him privately to ask about it. Only then did she discover that so much had happened, without her knowing. Amused, I laughed. Do not tell anyone, okay? Xiaoyou happily came over and took My breakfast away, she said. Then eat mine. You are not allowed to give it to Mengqi again, or I will tell everyone your secret. I frowned and teased. Are you threatening me? Xiaoyou replied in a cutesy, pleading tone. I just want you to eat the breakfast I bought. I know you deliberately gave it to Mengqi last time. I also know you two went to the movies on Saturday. How am I any worse than her? Why can you not give me a chance? She had always liked top students. Especially after this four-school joint exam. She had become even more interested in me. She had met me through a former elementary school classmate, and I had even pursued that classmate. She did not think it mattered. After all, Sirou had said she had never dated me. There had only been a little flirtation between us. Besides, we had blocked each other now. What Xiaoyou could not accept most was that she was prettier than Mengqi, more charming, and more proactive than her. Why could she not win against that quiet, clueless girl? I answered at once. Fine, block Sirou and get into Tsinghua or Peking University. If you can't do that, I will consider it. Soon, the bell for first period rang. Physics teacher Nangoxing walked into the classroom. You have probably all seen your scores. Now take out your test papers. By the way, where is Lin Yifei? I raised my hand and said, I am here, sir. You are messing with me on purpose, aren't you? Chinese, math, and English. You scored so highly in every subject, but you fell short in the sciences. With that, the physics teacher began going over the test with us. He was clearly the highly efficient kind of teacher. By second period, school officials were inspecting the campus. When they reached our classroom door, one of them asked, the student you mentioned from first high, who transferred here, is in this class, right? Then Dean Liu Xiaoping came over with a smile. After greeting the physics teacher, he called out, is Lin Yifei here? Come out for a moment. I stood up, instantly becoming the focus of every classmate's eyes. I slowly walked out of the classroom, then politely nodded to the teachers. Hello, teachers, Dean Liu Xiaoping told me. Do not be nervous. This is Director Song from the Provincial Education Bureau. The others here are also officials from the Education Bureau. Director Song said with a warm smile. You are the one who wrote on First High's online forum. The author of Xiaoyou drops out, right? Very good, very good. I heard you transferred from First High. Then you must know both schools well. And your grades are quite good too, right? It seems it was because of. Dean Liu Xiaoping quickly answered, a fight? He can be hot-headed, but his grades are excellent. He ranked in the top 10 at First High too. After transferring to Second High, in this four-school joint exam, he also ranked in the top 10. Director Song said with a genial smile. Fighting is certainly wrong. Let me ask you this. What do you think is the biggest difference between First High and Second High? Which school do you think has the better academic atmosphere? Dean Liu Xiaoping was thrown into a panic. It was far too sudden. He looked at me anxiously. After a brief pause, I began, Here is how I see it. I think First High puts students under greater academic pressure, but I prefer Second High. At that, Second High's Dean Liu Xiaoping broke into a broad smile. Oh, could you be more specific? Why do you prefer Second High? At First High, I felt I was not studying for myself, but for the school, for my parents, and to avoid letting my parents down. That mindset puts enormous pressure on students, while also leaving them feeling wronged. For example, when I was at First High, my homeroom teacher said more than once, and even the dean said the same thing. Do not let your parents down. You must understand that studying is what matters most right now. Think how hard your parents worked to send you to First High, and so on. You must repay your parents. I believe honoring your parents is important, and so is repaying them. But forcing this idea on students too heavily is harmful to teenagers' intellectual growth. We study for others, not for ourselves. But Second High is different. At First High, physical education was free time. Yet during free time, many students would still return to the classroom to study. As a result, students' health and fitness suffer badly. At Second High, we have to run 800 meters in physical education class. Once we finish, those who want to play can play, and those who need rest can rest. The academic atmosphere may not seem as intense as First High's, but it better supports a healthy balance between work and rest. In my view, Second High's approach to students is completely different from First High's educational philosophy. Perhaps in terms of test scores, First High has a slight advantage, but when it comes to students' all-round, moral, intellectual, physical, and artistic development, including after graduation, Second High students may prove more outstanding. Teachers, I have not been at Second High for long. This is only my personal opinion. The Education Bureau officials all nodded after hearing me out. That was wonderfully said. No wonder this kid can write novels. His logic, arguments, and wording are all very rigorous. One official said half-jokingly to the dean, if this kid had not been someone we suddenly decided to call out in question, I would have thought you had prepared a speech for him in advance. He has made first high and second highs, respective strengths and weaknesses remarkably clear. Dean Liu Xiaoping replied with a smile. That is certainly not possible. It is mainly because Ling Yifei truly is exceptional. He is also more mature than most students. In this four-school joint exam, he even earned a rare perfect score on his essay. He expresses himself very well. Dean Liu Xiaoping was clearly pleased as he patted my shoulder. His impression of me improved even more. I really knew how to say the right things. It sounded like I was praising second high, but not too obviously. Then I added that I had not been there long, which made the officials feel quite comfortable. It did not sound like one-sided flattery. At that moment, another Education Bureau official adjusted his glasses and smiled. By the way, there is one more thing. The province plans to select a school as a provincial key model school. The evaluation naturally includes the learning environment, college admission rates, and teaching staff, as well as every other aspect of the school's conditions. At present, First High is better suited to become that model school. If you had a vote, which school would you choose? I deliberately scratched my head, pretending it was a difficult choice. Sir, then I will be honest. Whichever school I attend, that is the school I hope gets selected. So I vote for second high. The teachers all laughed cheerfully. Ha ha ha, that makes sense. Everyone wants their own school to be chosen. Just then, I gathered my courage and said, Teachers, may I take a photo with you? It is like this. I am a bit vain. I want to brag that important officials came to chat with me. Those Education Bureau officials were completely amused by that. This kid is so amusing. We are not celebrities. What is there to show off? I explained with an innocent grin. But I think anyone who can serve as an Education Bureau official is very impressive. Seeing how amusing the kid was, and how he had praised them like celebrities, as if a photo with them was worth bragging about. They immediately said with a laugh, Alright, let us take one. Oh, and your novel is pretty good too. Kid, keep working hard. Try to become a great writer someday. I promptly took a couple of photos with the officials. Then I posted them on my social feed. This is great. The Education Bureau officials praised me. They even asked me which was better, first high or second high. That afternoon, Zheng Yansong, who had taken some time off, returned to class. A whole group of classmates who were fairly close to him came over to check on him. Zheng Yansong gave a brief explanation, then put his head down on his desk. Liu Xiang whispered beside him, While you were gone, Lin Yifei was on fire. Then he told him everything that had happened during his absence. He even mentioned how Xiaoyou had bought me breakfast. Just then, I grabbed an open bottle of milk, tossed it over, and said with a smile, Just bought it. How is everything going? Zheng Yansong caught the milk and pulled me outside the classroom. He even took me to the end of the hall for a private chat. The surrounding classmates were left dumbfounded. Wait, since when were they so close? Unable to contain her curiosity, Zhang Shiki asked when Mengqi, were they not about to fight? How were they suddenly chatting together? When Mengqi shook her head blankly too, even Xiaoyou was stunned. Those two were actually chatting and laughing. The results are really good now. We are getting plenty of real customer traffic. I counted yesterday. We received 36 orders. After we talked about the online store's current situation, I patted his shoulder teasingly and said, By the way, why do you not hurry up and win Xiaoyou over? Otherwise, she keeps bothering me. Zheng Yansong lowered his head and smiled awkwardly. It is not that I do not want to. You have seen it yourself. I have tried everything. I think she still likes guys like you, smart, and with great grades. I smiled faintly and said, Then improve your grades and score higher than I do. Maybe she will be the one chasing you. Zheng Yansong could not even imagine Xiaoyou pursuing him instead. Trust me, Xiaoyou is not that hard to win over. The point is not chasing her. The point is becoming strong enough that she looks up to you. At lunch, I opened my social feed and immediately laughed, especially the post with the Education Bureau officials. The photo was flooded with likes. That is incredible. Education Bureau officials even asked you, which was better, first high or second high? That is so like you. Even at second high, you still steal the spotlight. Sunfei even sent me a private message. I saw your social post while eating. I suspect you did it on purpose. So I took a screenshot and reposted it on my feed for you. Nice one, bro. Just then, Arts Committee member Yanziki came over and said, Wenmengqi, about the arts show the teacher mentioned last time, will you sign up? Wenmengqi timidly shook her head and kept eating with her head lowered. Yanziki hesitated for a moment, but you played so beautifully last time. I think you are the best performer our class has. If you do not join it, it would be such a loss. Do you not want to show Lin Yifei how well you play? At that, Wenmengqi's cheeks turned bright red. I chuckled. It is fine. It all depends on whether you want to join. No one can force you. Then Yanziki deliberately leaned close to Wenmengqi's ear and whispered something. Wenmengqi then gritted her teeth and answered softly, okay, I will join. Yanziki clapped excitedly. Ha ha ha, wonderful. What about you, Lin Yifei? Look, even Wenmengqi has joined. This is our final year of high school. If you have talent, do not keep it hidden. Now I understood. This arts committee member really knew how to persuade people. I had no idea what she had said to the little rich girl, but she had actually convinced her. I responded, we will see. If no one in class signs up by then, I can do it too. Yanziki grinned and said, I do not care. I am counting you as signed up. What is your talent? The corner of my mouth lifted. I deliberately glanced at the little rich girl, Wenmengqi, and found the silly girl looking rather curious and expectant. Only then did I say, magic. Meanwhile, in First High's cafeteria, several teachers were having lunch. Mr. Song, do you remember that former student of yours, Lin Yifei? I hear he is at Second High now, and he is really making a name for himself. Even Education Bureau officials took photos with him. Does his family have connections? The homeroom teacher of senior year class 2, Song Wenbo, furrowed his brow slightly. What do you mean? Education Bureau officials. Mr. Zheng beside him smiled. You did not know. I only saw it because one of my students reposted it. Then Song Wenbo, the homeroom teacher of senior year class 2, saw my social media post. Song Wenbo stared in disbelief. This, I really did not know. I never heard that his family had such connections. His heart dropped with a thud. Could this turn into trouble? He hurriedly finished his meal and nervously said, Mr. Zheng, could you forward me that photo? No sooner had Song Wenbo hurried out of the cafeteria than the remaining teachers began gossiping and teasing. I heard Lin Yifei transferred out after arguing with him. If that kid really has connections, then his application for senior teacher status could be in jeopardy. You probably do not know this, but the student who fought Lin Yifei was actually. Meanwhile, Song Wenbo arrived at the academic affairs office. Liu Qiang frowned as he looked at the photo. They really were higher-ups, but judging by the background, it seemed to have been taken at Second High. He then called the teacher at Second High with whom he had a good relationship to find out what happened. After hanging up, Liu Qiang spoke with a complicated expression. The official knew the student had transferred from First High and specifically called him out of class to ask about the two schools. The boy said that whichever school he attended, he hoped that school would be selected as a provincial model high school. Only then did Song Wenbo breathe a sigh of relief. He returned to his office, but just then, the academic affairs office phone rang. After taking the call, Liu Qiang went numb all over. The principal himself had just called, ordering every senior year student to attend physical education class, with students forbidden from returning to their classrooms. During class, they had to exercise outdoors. What terrified him most was that an education bureau official had told them Second High was doing better than them in this regard. Liu Qiang was genuinely alarmed. He never expected one student could nearly cause such huge trouble. If it truly affected First Highs being designated a provincial model high school, the loss would far outweigh any gain. Then Liu Qiang had a sudden idea. He found my father's number and called it. Hello. Are you Lin Yifei's parent? I am the academic affairs director at First High. We met once before. Your son's student file is still at our school. I was also hoping to pay you a visit and see how he is doing after transferring schools. Why do you not give me your address? I can bring the file to your home. I am mainly worried that his grades may suffer because of the transfer, so I would like to discuss his situation with you. Although he left our school, he did come from First High after all. I will visit your home this weekend. I had just arrived home after school when I overheard my dad's call with the academic affairs director. I smiled faintly. Dad, do you really think such a good deal exists? Yes, I thought it was strange too, but he stressed several times that he wanted to deliver it himself. He also said that since you came from first high, he wanted to know how you were doing at second high. As I ate, I took out my phone and handed it to Dad. Li Jian looked in surprise at his son's social media post and said, "You even took a photo with Education Bureau officials. Could First High's Academic Affairs Director be coming to see you because of this?" I nodded in response. After dinner, I went back to my room. It was the perfect chance to use this time to update another chapter of my novel. The next day, I came to school and immediately heard some huge gossip. Someone had supposedly taken Zhongda University's joint entrance exam and been admitted to Zhongda University without taking the college entrance exam. Hearing that, I muttered to myself, I should just study hard and take the college entrance exam. When I returned to the classroom and had barely sat down, I heard Liu Xiang announce excitedly, "I have good news for you all. I am getting into Zhongda University, damn it." The moment he finished, a crowd of classmates gathered around him. "Did you take the joint entrance exam too?" Liu Xiang grinned smugly. "How did you know?" "My dad just messaged me about it. Ha ha ha. Now the college entrance exam is just a formality." Quite a few people gasped in amazement. "No way. How did you pass?" Liu Xiang replied with a grin. "That is a secret I cannot tell." I burst out laughing. I beckoned Liu Xiang over. Liu Xiang smugly sat in Zhang Shiki's seat. "What is it, genius? Jealous? Maybe we will even attend the same university. Though I have not decided on a major yet." I leaned close to Liu Xiang's ear and whispered, "Call the police. If you are lucky, it may not be too late." Liu Xiang stared at me. "What the hell? You mean I got scammed? How is that possible?" "When we took the test, we went to the computer lab at Zhongda University. The university itself organized it. How could it be fake?" I sighed and shook my head. Then I looked up Zhongda University's admissions office number. "Then look at this number," Liu Xiang said smugly. "My dad called it ages ago." The corners of my mouth curled up. I teased him with a smile. "Your dad called the admissions number those flyer distributors gave him. Of course they would say everything was fine. You need to find it on Zhongda University's official website, but it is still so early. There may not be anyone answering yet. Call again at 9 o'clock. Meanwhile, in class to a first high senior year, Sirou held Zhongda University's admission list and cheered happily. Only 21 of the 201 test takers had been admitted. She was one of them. She even invited everyone to her house for a big meal and a party. Sun Fei, however, was stunned. How could Sirou possibly pass Zhongda University's joint entrance exam? He immediately sensed something was off, so he sent me a message. I replied unhurriedly, "Haha, what a coincidence. One of my classmates was admitted too, but he is already crying." After reading the message, Sun Fei looked up. By then, the classmates had gathered around Sirou to congratulate her. Sun Fei could not help chuckling as he said, "I am about to say something you may not like, but could this be fake?" Everyone froze at his words. Sirou frowned and muttered, "Sun Fei, what do you mean?" Sun Fei shook his head and said, "I mean, could it be that Zhongda does not have any joint entrance exam at all?" Sirou snorted and replied, "How could that be? When we took the test, we went to Zhongda University itself, and everyone paid a fee. After that, we even had to take a qualifying exam. Only those who passed it could take the joint exam. The joint exam was very strict too." "Did you not hear what I just said? Fewer than 1 in 10 were admitted." Sirou's close friend teased from beside her. "Exactly. How could it be fake? You are just jealous. Let me tell you, Sun Fei, you will never get into Zhongda in your life." Sun Fei had not wanted to put it so bluntly, but Liu Xiang's words irritated him. So he said directly, "I just asked Lin Yifei. He said this Zhongda joint exam is fake." Everyone was dumbfounded. The next second, Liu Xiang clenched her teeth. Who does Lin Yifei think he is? He must be jealous of Sirou. I always knew he was no good. He was clearly the one who hit someone first. He got punished, yet still tried to drag Sirou down with him. Just then, one classmate suddenly suggested, "Why not call them right now and ask Zhongda's admissions office? If she was really admitted, they should be able to verify it." Sirou immediately found a photo on her phone. Zhongda's admissions office number was in the lower right corner. "Hello, is this Zhongda University's admissions office?" Everyone in the class listened anxiously. "This is Zhongda University's admissions office. How may I help you?" Liu Xiang anxiously asked. "I would like to ask, did your university hold a joint entrance exam? An early exam, where you can be admitted without taking the college entrance exam?" The person on the phone replied politely, "Oh, yes, There is such a program, but there are not many spots, and the exam should be over by now. At that, everyone erupted. Liu Ziyan and Chen Sirou did not forget to mock Sun Fei. You and Lin Yifei are just jealous. You did not get in, so you claim theirs is fake. Sun Fei was confused too. That is not right. Lin Yifei clearly said it was fake. Why did they confirm it when we called this number? Sun Fei frowned. Something had to be wrong. He immediately searched online for Zhongda University's admissions office number, then called it during a break. The response he received was, Zhongda University has never held a joint entrance exam. There is no early admission program either. You were certainly scammed out of those exam fees. Call the police immediately. Our university leaders have already begun investigating. Sun Fei laughed when he heard that. The number they called earlier must have been fake. He then returned to the classroom. Their homeroom teacher, Song Wenbo, was at the front explaining a problem. Sir, there is something I do not know whether I should mention. I just called to ask about it. Zhongda said there was no joint exam. It is a scam. Song Wenbo frowned and asked, What scam? What Zhongda joint exam? Who told you Zhongda had a joint entrance exam? Sun Fei laughed and said, It was not me. Someone in our class said they were admitted to Zhongda early. Liu Ziyan retorted in exasperation, Sir. Sun Fei is just jealous of Chen Sirou. She already called to confirm it. Yet he is still making a fuss. Sun Fei laughed. Jealous of what? I called and asked myself. There is no joint entrance exam at all. They also said you were scammed out of all the exam fees. The reason you took the test at Zhongda was because Zhongda had initially partnered with the education company. No one expected the company to use that partnership to run a scam. The university leaders have already called the police, and you are still going on about jealousy. What the hell would I be jealous of? Chen Sirou said helplessly. Did we not just call and ask? Why are you so annoying? Did Lin Yifei tell you something else again? Song Wenbo had still been a little confused, but the moment he heard Lin Yifei's name, he snapped alert. What? Does this involve Lin Yifei? What happened? Sun Fei then explained the whole matter. Song Wenbo frowned as he said, There is indeed a problem here. As far as I know, Zhongda does not have a joint entrance exam program. If it did, I would certainly have told you. Chen Sirou said, deeply aggrieved. Sir, we just called Zhongda's admissions office. They said it was real. I cannot believe this. He believes whatever Lin Yifei says. Liu Ziyan added angrily. Exactly. If Lin Yifei told you to eat shit, why would you not go eat it? Sun Fei said disdainfully. None of your damn business. I tried to warn you out of kindness, and you insult me for it. He turned, kicked the door, and stormed out. Seeing this, Song Wenbo shouted, What kind of behavior is this? Stop all that shouting. I will make a call and ask. With that, Song Wenbo took out his phone and asked about the Zhongda joint exam. After hanging up, Song Wenbo spoke with a complicated expression. Chen Sirou, come outside for a moment. I just checked. There really is such a thing as the Zhongda joint exam. Chen Sirou immediately smiled happily. I told you it was real. But the next second, Song Wenbo said sternly, But it is fake. From what I know so far, Zhongda has no joint entrance exam admissions program, but quite a few people have taken this so-called Zhongda joint exam. Some tutoring agencies are using the Zhongda joint exam as a pretext to scam people out of money. I hear the registration fee was quite expensive, was it not? Chen Sirou's eyes reddened as she choked out, Sir, how could it be fake? But I did not know either. My mother paid the money. Chen Sirou then tearfully explained everything from beginning to end. When she finished, Song Wenbo did not know whether to laugh or cry as he said, There is no such thing as a free lunch. Meanwhile, at Second High School, officers from the local police station had already arrived. Liu Jiang told them everything. Teacher Liang Yuding also called in the victims from the other classes. She asked their parents to go to the police station together and seek redress. Liu Jiang finally returned to the classroom dejected. He was too ashamed even to speak to his classmates. He had just bragged like a big shot, only for it to turn out fake. Zhang Shiki and several girls gathered together to gossip. They whispered, I heard someone at First High School found out it was fake too. At first, they would not believe it. They even argued about it in class. I took out my phone then and saw a message from Sun Fei. It feels so damn good seeing Chen Sirou return from the office in tears. That makes me feel much better. Even our school leaders will come observe the class. The open class will be filmed and recorded. Do not be nervous. Just follow my lead when the time comes. A few minutes later, as the bell rang, Chinese teacher Wenxuan held a microphone and stood on stage, smiling. The theme of today's open class is how to make reading and writing your hobbies. Many people say, I do not like reading. I do not enjoy books. And I do not like writing essays either, right? Is there anyone here who would say they love reading? Raise your hand. Let me see. At that moment, I was standing off to the side as the invited guest. I raised my hand and said with a smile, as long as it is not a textbook, I love reading it. The entire room burst into laughter. The atmosphere instantly came alive. Several Education Bureau officials also leaned together and joked amongst themselves. Why is it this kid again? This kid really is interesting. Wenxuan said with a smile. All right. Do not listen to his nonsense. He has read far more books than any of you. To help us build good reading habits and develop our writing skills, our school has officially founded a literary club. He then introduced the literary club. By joining the literary club, everyone can share the books they enjoy, novels, literary magazines, and other extracurricular reading materials. You can find like-minded friends, while also improving your reading and writing as you relax. Let me ask, how many of you know the novel on Second High School's online forum? Xiaoyou drops out. Raise your hands. Let me see. At once, the younger students below raised their hands one after another. Wenxuan said with a smile. That proves you do enjoy reading. You just do not enjoy textbooks. He then smiled slightly and asked, so, does anyone know who wrote? Xiaoyou drops out. Waves of murmurs rose from below. He continued with a knowing smile. Now, please welcome our literary club's special guest Xiaoyou, drops out's author, Yifei from senior class 4, to the stage. Thunderous applause erupted. Every student below stared wide-eyed at me on stage. The moment I stepped on stage, the whole room exploded with excitement. Hello, everyone. I am Yifei from senior class 4. I never take my studies seriously, and I do not like studying. Do not follow my example. Look at the big screen. This is my report card from the 4-school joint exam. I put a photo of my report card into the presentation slides. Right from the start, I displayed my top student grades. Standing on stage, I said with a smile, why did I show you my grades first? Do any of you younger students know? Raise your hand. Let me see. Soon, a boy bravely raised his hand and said, Senior, are you trying to tell us that the reason you write novels is not because you let hobbies distract you from school, but because you were already an excellent student? You also score highly in both Chinese and math. So, your novels are not only well written, but also extremely logical. Amused, I laughed. Wrong. Completely wrong. The reason I put my grades up first was simply to show off. To show you that the guy standing on stage is not just anyone, but a senior whose grades are miles ahead of yours. So tell me, is that badass or what? The students below instantly erupted. Badass, totally badass. Even Wenxuan, the Chinese teacher, got flustered. He quickly grabbed the microphone and laughed. Hey. Watch your language. Especially you, Yifei. What are you saying? The officials are watching. The students below burst into laughter. The officials shook their heads, unsure whether to laugh or cry. The principal even had to take the initiative to explain things to the officials beside him. I continued with a smile. All right, back to the point. Showing off is one thing, but since I was invited here today, as a guest of this literary club, to share my creative journey and a few so-called insights, I should give you something genuinely useful. Here is a simple motto. Write it down. There are only 3 lines. Repeat what comes easily. Stick with what you repeat. And enjoy what you keep doing. What does it mean to repeat what comes easily? Why do I tell you to do easy things, rather than tackle so-called difficult ones? Does anyone know? 2 girls raised their hands again. But I changed course and said with a smile, do not raise your hands. I am not letting you answer. I still need to show off. Another wave of laughter swept through the room. The students were delighted. Then I narrowed my eyes and smiled. There is a saying, everyone has their own strengths. Everyone has a gift to offer. Every person has something they excel at. Some are good at sports. Some are good at painting, some at music, and some at bragging. So here is the question. In the field where you excel, does what you need to do not seem easy? For example, is scoring 140 in Chinese difficult? The younger students below shouted, yes. I clicked my tongue and laughed. Something that seems easy to me is difficult for all of you. What is that? That is talent. The students were thoroughly amused. Even the Education Bureau officials could not help laughing. They shook their heads, leaned together, and whispered, "This kid really knows how to talk. He is confident too." I continued, "Repeat what comes easily does not mean every easy thing. It means things that pose a barrier or challenge to others, but seem somewhat easy to you. Those are the things you should keep doing. Never think they are meaningless, boring, unimportant, or lacking challenge, because once you give up that so-called easy thing to pursue something difficult, you are really abandoning the talent you possess. You are throwing away your true strength." When I finished, the officials below brightened. "That is an interesting angle." As I continued my speech, thunderous applause erupted from the students below. Even Wenxuan, the Chinese teacher, could not help nodding. No wonder he is a literature ace. He earned a perfect score on his essay. Even the Education Bureau officials in the back row, along with the principal, applauded with smiles. That was wonderfully said. It was better than what I heard from teachers at the previous schools. After the open class, the officials all left with smiles, praising my talent again and again. In no time, at school, I gained plenty of adoring fans. Several younger girls bravely came up to ask for my contact information. I waved them off every time. Then Wenxuan praised me from beside me. "You are pretty impressive, kid." The principal said this open class will have its recording posted on Second High's official website for promotion. It is a shame you are already a senior. Otherwise, the literary club president role would be yours. And sure enough, that very night, the video of my speech had already been posted on the school's online forum. It was even featured and pinned. Before long, students from Second High flooded in to watch it, leaving all kinds of comments. "So, you wrote that novel. I want to have your babies." But nobody knew that this senior year academic star, envied by so many students, was doing something that people his age would not even dare imagine. I was hiding in my room, selecting new styles of monster-themed lingerie to run a Christmas promotion. But we had invested quite a bit upfront. Little rich girl when Mengqi's bankroll was nearly drained by me. Of over 100,000 yuan, only a little more than 50,000 remained. The next day, I took the bus back to school and unexpectedly ran into two familiar faces. I looked at the figure who had once left a deep mark on me in my past life and asked, "Did you get that money from Zhongda back?" Honestly, why are people these days so awful? At that, Sirou lowered her head and came over to me. She whispered, "I am sorry. Good thing you warned us. Otherwise, we might not have found out so soon." Just then, the bus suddenly jolted. Sirou instinctively grabbed my arm to steady herself. Looking at me with pleading eyes, she softly asked, "Did you have time on Christmas? I know you must still be angry, but can I treat you to dinner to apologize?" She looked up and blinked her big eyes. I had to admit, Sirou really was the kind of girl who was strikingly beautiful. Her pitiful tone left even the boys on the bus staring in a daze. But it did not work on me. I frowned. "I do not have time." Sirou shook my arm coquettishly. "Come on. I know I was wrong. Please do not be mad at me anymore." Liu Zian urged me from the side as well. "Look, Sirou has already apologized to you. Just give her a chance. A guy should not be so petty." To be fair, after that routine from those two girls, any guy with a softer heart might really have fallen for it. God knows how much emotional manipulation I endured in my last life. When I finally learned Sirou was with Zhao Tianlei, and that they were even getting married, I completely fell apart. Now, looking again at this so-called first love and school beauty, I genuinely felt nothing at all. You could even say that apart from Sirou's decent looks, she did not stir my heart nearly as much as Xiaoyou did. So I firmly refused, and got straight off the bus. With Christmas coming, I wrote a note and handed it to little rich girl Mengqi. It said only one word, date. When Mengqi looked at the note, and was instantly speechless. Just then, Yansong suddenly shouted excitedly, "Awesome!" startling the classmates chatting nearby. Yansong hurried over to me, pulled out his phone, and logged into our store dashboard. His eyes shone with unconcealed excitement. "Look, our Christmas featured item is selling like crazy. So many people are messaging us, asking when it will be in stock." I said calmly, "This is only the beginning." Reply to everyone like this. Say standard delivery takes 3 to 4 days. Express shipping arrives the next day, but they cover the shipping cost. Yansong gritted his teeth. "I will take a half-day leave. With so many customer inquiries, my sister definitely cannot handle it alone." An idea came to me. I have a solution. The two of us went to the teacher's office. We knocked on the door. Homeroom teacher Liang Yuding turned around and saw Zheng Yansong and me entering. What is it? Fighting again? Ms. Liang, I would like to borrow a school computer, or use a computer in the electronic reading room. Liang Yuding frowned and asked, what do you need a computer for? For something unrelated to schoolwork. But I can guarantee that Zheng Yansong will clear the first-tier university cutoff in the first mock exam. Zheng Yansong was dumbfounded. He nervously pulled at me and whispered, how am I supposed to reach that cutoff? I cannot do it. Seeing that, Liang Yuding laughed too. She teased, see, he does not even believe it himself. And you expect me to believe it? If you said you could reach the first-tier university cutoff, I might believe it. But how could Zheng Yansong do it? English is his weak point, and he is behind in Chinese too. Wait, those are exactly the subjects you excel at, right? You are going to tutor him? Ms. Liang, I will not just tutor him. I will make sure he clears the first-tier university cutoff on the first mock exam. Liang Yuding rolled her eyes at this little rascal and joked with a smile. That is not for you to decide. What if he cannot make it? And what exactly do you need the computer for? Zheng Yansong gritted his teeth. Forget it. Ms. Liang, how about I take a half-day leave? I will say there is something going on at home. Liang Yuding was completely baffled. What was going on with these two? Can you not just tell me why you need a computer? If I do not approve it, you want to take leave. And if I do not approve that either, are you going to skip class? Zheng Yansong immediately answered, yes, if you do not approve it, I can only skip class. Liang Yuding was so angry that she stood up. She dragged us into the hallway and began scolding us. Lin Yifei, you explain what is going on first. If you cannot explain it, do not bother returning to class. Not until you make it clear. Zheng Yansong looked just as confused. He had no idea what I was trying to do, and I had even claimed I would get him past that cutoff on the first mock exam. But you are, in the truest sense, a teacher who truly cares for her students. Liang Yuding did not know whether to laugh or cry. All right, do not put me on such a pedestal. You really know how to talk. I can bring the spare laptop from home. Just come to my office and get it after class. The problem is, what if someone asks about it? And if the things your shop sells are seen by other students or teachers, it would not be appropriate. With that, she could not help rolling her eyes at me. An idea struck me. The library. We can leave the laptop at the library, and Zheng Yansong can head straight there after class. Liang Yuding frowned, hesitating for a moment. It could work, but it still does not feel right. Still, she understood Zheng Yansong's family situation. I immediately pressed Zheng Yansong's head down, then bent over with him and said, thank you, Ms. Liang. Seeing this, Liang Yuding truly had no way to refuse them. She sighed. All right, we will do it that way. When we checked the store dashboard on Thursday, our sales had actually surpassed 300,000 yuan. While Zheng Yansong was still celebrating, I said, not knowing whether to laugh or cry, do not celebrate yet. We have another problem. Damn, that is 300,000 yuan worth of inventory. We have to front the money before we can ship them. How else can we do it? Only then did Zheng Yansong grow anxious. Right? I was just about to mention that. I tried just now, but it said the bank card has no money left. So, we cannot fulfill many of the orders right now. What do we do? I will figure something out. Wait for my word. I knew I could not count on Zheng Yansong for this. Any money he could borrow had long since gone toward for hospital bills and accident compensation. What could I do? Come clean to my parents. Tell them their son had made something of himself, with daily turnover in the hundreds of thousands of yuan? I immediately dismissed that idea. Just then, when Mengqi suddenly sent me a message. What are you doing? My eyes darted, and I immediately replied, thinking about someone. Do you have any money left? When Mengqi replied, nope, I gave it all to you. When I saw her message, my mind went blank. I suddenly had no idea what to do either. After all, I had already emptied her entire little stash. But 10 minutes later, when Mengqi sent another message, along with a string of numbers, the instant I saw it, I blurted out to words, holy shit. I stole my dad's bank card. There should be money on it. My head was buzzing. Now I finally understood why. When I'd been deceived by a scumbag in my previous life, she was seriously too foolish. How could a girl be so adorably foolish? She had actually stolen her own father's card. I replied, what if he finds out? Will he call the police and have me arrested? He will not. My dad has lots of cards. He might not even notice if one is missing. Anyway, once he notices. You can just put the money back. I was so damn touched I could cry. If I did not cherish this little rich girl, I would be the world's biggest idiot. I immediately ran to an automated teller machine outside. I selected cardless services, then checked the balance. I had no idea before looking, but the number nearly gave a heart attack. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, hundreds of thousands, millions. There was actually 1 point for 5 million yuan on that card. I could not help swallowing hard. That meant, counting everything I had taken from my little rich girl's stash, I had taken nearly 2 million yuan from her. Friday morning, I took the bus back to the school gate and brought breakfast for Mengqi. After returning to the classroom, I waited quite a while. Before Mengqi and Zhong finally came in, I leaned close to Mengqi's ear and whispered, "Too many people are watching. Otherwise, I would feed you myself." Mengqi immediately blushed and lowered her head. She ate away, her little mouth smacking softly. After the math classes, Liu Xiang hugged a basketball and called out, "A few of us are going out to unwind." Yansong answered, "You guys go ahead. I am going to the library." With that, he grabbed several books and practice sheets, preparing to head there. At first, everyone laughed. "Yeah, keep talking big." But Yansong actually went to the library. Everyone was utterly stunned. And that was not all. After every class that followed, whenever he had a spare moment, Yansong would go study in the library. Such a drastic change made the classmates question everything they knew. A few minutes later, their homeroom teacher, Liang Yuding, walked in with a smile. "Before class, I have an announcement. A few days ago, we discussed the idea of study groups. Yifei also pointed out that this approach has certain limitations. So, following my earlier suggestion, I have assigned the groups." Just then, I raised my hand. "Ms. Liang, I suggest each student should only join study groups for at most 2 subjects. That will give everyone clear goals, while easing the student tutor's workload. Otherwise, if all 30 or 40 students come asking questions, no one could handle it." Liang Yuding looked pleased. "That works. We will do that." Meanwhile, at the police station, the criminals had already been caught. A large group of parents who had been scammed by the tutoring agency gathered and shouted, "Why can second middle school get their money back, while experimental middle school and Huaxi cannot get ours refunded?" The police station erupted into chaos. A police officer sighed and shouted, "First, we are not saying your money cannot be recovered. We are tracking it down, but it takes time. Second, a student from second middle school reported it. So, we immediately froze the scam. Rings bank cards. But the agency was clever. It collected tuition from each school separately. The tutoring agency account we froze held only the payments from second middle school parents. As for your accounts, by the time police got the victim list and went to the bank, the money had already been transferred away. So we are not treating anyone differently. Understand? To put it bluntly, not one person from your other schools realized they had been scammed. Someone at their school figured it out, and that is why their losses were saved. Do you understand now? And parents from second middle school, do not thank me. If you want to thank someone, thank the student who reported it. If that student had not spotted the problem, your money would likely have been transferred away too." The officer checked the case file, then said with a smile, "The reporting party is Lin Yifei, a high school student. The registered victim is Liu Xiang, a student in class 4, senior year, at second middle school. Strange. Why do Lin Yifei's official school records list first middle school?" The officer drew a sharp breath. A student from first middle school reported the case for a student at second middle school. When he finished speaking, the parents were completely stunned. Several first middle school parents stood dumbfounded. That cannot be right. Then why did none of us at first middle school know? A large group of victimized first middle school parents were furious. They immediately agreed to go to the school and demand answers. Half an hour later, more than 20 people arrived at first middle school's gate. Cursing all the way, they marched to the senior teacher's office. The teachers were terrified by the sight. The students also watched the teacher's office curiously. Seeing this, physics teacher Qin Shui hurried over to calm him. "Please, take your time. Who are you looking for? Which class are they in? What police report?" Several parents stepped forward, bristling with self-righteous anger, and demanded, "Do you know which class Lin Yifei is in?" He knew the Zhongda exam was a scam, yet he reported it for a student from second middle school. He did not even warn the students at our first middle school. Now the police station says, Only second middle school can recover the money they lost. Is that not screwing us over? They said Lin Yifei is a first middle school student. Who is Lin Yifei's homeroom teacher? Step forward. As soon as they said that, Qin Shui immediately picked up her phone and called Song Wenbo. Soon, homeroom teacher Song Wenbo returned to the office. Seeing the huge crowd, he was stunned too. Who is looking for me? The parents immediately rushed forward and surrounded Song Wenbo. You are Lin Yifei's homeroom teacher, right? Where is Lin Yifei? We are getting answers today. What exactly is going on with him? Song Wenbo suddenly understood and smiled. Oh, you are looking for Lin Yifei. Sorry, Lin Yifei has already withdrawn from our school. The kid is good in every way, except he does not know how to conduct himself. He has no respect for his elders, and no respect for teachers. He says whatever comes to mind. I do not know what happened, but I completely understand how you feel. When this kid was in our class, even I could not stand him. So I simply persuaded him to leave school. Hearing they had come to cause trouble for Lin Yifei, Song Wenbo immediately took these parents as being on his side. Several parents asked in surprise, he left school. Did he transfer to second middle school? Song Wenbo smiled and asked, what did Lin Yifei do? Why do you all want to find him? But the parents immediately erupted into complaints. I knew it. How could a second middle school student report it for someone from first middle school? Why did this kid have to leave school? If only he had stayed at first middle school, then we could have gotten our money back too. Song Wenbo was utterly dumbfounded. A second ago, they had all looked furious, like they wanted to tear me apart. Why were they regretting his departure the next second? Then a parent muttered, wait, that is not right. Did I just hear the teacher say that you were the one who made that student leave school? Yes, exactly. That is what he said. Song Wenbo's mouth fell open. He turned and tried to run, but a male parent grabbed him the next second. How could you make him leave school? After a barrage of accusations, Song Wenbo was left completely stunned. He finally understood what was going on. It was about the Zhongda joint exam scam. He hurriedly explained, everyone, listen to me. First middle school only discovered the students had been scammed. Because of me, I was the first to speak with the students and confirm that Zhongda had no joint exam. Then why did you not report it to the police? The uproar lasted more than an hour. At last, all the parents left. Song Wenbo was left alone, sitting blankly in his chair. It took him a full half-hour to come back to his senses. Eyes wide, he growled, Lin Yifei, you bastard. As far as he was concerned, this was all my fault. Otherwise, how could he have been hit with complaints from those parents for no reason? He had even begun to suspect that this year's application for senior teacher certification was doomed. Just then, the dean of students, Liu Qiang, suddenly called. What is going on with you? A whole group of parents have filed complaints. The calls have reached me, asking why Lin Yifei dropped out. Song Wenbo's lips twitched. Though he was a teacher, he truly could not hold it in anymore. He began venting into the phone. What the hell does his dropping out have to do with them? Are these people out of their minds? What does a student who already dropped out have to do with us? They were stupid enough to get scammed, and now they are blaming someone else. Meanwhile, I arrived at the library and saw Zheng Yansong typing away at his keyboard. Zheng Yansong looked up with a smile. Looks like we can clear over 100,000 yuan in sales today too. If we can keep this up, we could really rent a warehouse and ship orders ourselves. Otherwise, drop shipping cost us too much. Clearly, Zheng Yansong was genuinely thrilled. I replied with a smile. Have you asked anyone out for Christmas Eve? If not, let's find somewhere nice to eat tonight. We can celebrate a little. If sales stay steady, we can rent a warehouse and hire people to pack orders. Then we will truly have a company. At the word company, Zheng Yansong felt like he was dreaming. We have not even graduated high school yet. While everyone else was working toward the college entrance exam, we had already started a business, and we were even opening a company. Zheng Yansong could not help glancing at me with a grin. Bro, honestly, I rarely admire anyone this much, but you're fucking amazing. That Saturday, 3 classmates I was closest to all came over. As we chatted, my mother suddenly said with a smile, your dean of students is coming. Hearing that, the students immediately looked amused and eager. Soon after, when Dean Liu Qiang arrived at our door, he suddenly froze. Hello, Dean. What brings you here? Zhu Shikan cheekily asked. Lin Yifei already left school, yet you still came for a home visit. Liu Qiang smiled awkwardly. You are all from first middle school, right? My mother, Hiyakin, greeted him with a smile. Yes, they are all Yifei's classmates from first middle school. It happens to be a holiday today, so they arranged to come hang out together. I hope they are not disturbing you, Dean. Only then did Liu Qiang understand, smiling. Not at all. I only came to sit for a moment before leaving. He had wanted to ask what I had discussed with the Education Bureau officials, but seeing so many students at once, he immediately regretted coming. I chuckled and teased. Dean Liu, long time no see. How is Liu Tianlei? Bring him over to hang out next time. Liu Qiang's lips twitched. Still, he forced a smile and said, he needs to prepare for the college entrance exam. That brat did poorly on the last four-school joint exam, so I have not let him leave the house. Bao Shi, Sun Fei, and the others could not hold back their laughter. They all knew Liu Tianlei, and I did not get along. Yet they still brought up the one subject he did not want mentioned. My mother, Hiyakin, brought out some fruit to serve him and said, Dean, when the time comes, should we submit his records to the principal at second middle school or to the admissions office? Liu Qiang then took out my personal records. Either is fine, as long as they reach a teacher at second middle school. Actually, I came today to see whether this child, after transferring, has had trouble adjusting to anything. If it affects his studies, his records can remain at first middle school. After all, he still has ties to first middle school. Then I received a message saying I had been registered for the new concept essay competition. The competition details were sent to me to review. The competition has a qualifying round and an on-site writing round. The qualifying prompt is a cup and a person. You need to write an essay of at least 2,000 Chinese characters. You have 10 days until the deadline. Send it to me when you are done. And once I confirm it is good, I will submit it. I considered how to approach the prompt for a while. A few minutes later, when Mengqi sent another message, update. Seeing that word, I finally understood. She was asking me to update my novel. My friend dropped out of school. Only then did I remember that, these past few days, because of the store's sales figures, I had not updated it for days. So I smiled. Even the little rich girl was asking for an update, so there was no reason not to write one. Once I started, I wrote until midnight. The next day, Sunday, when Mengqi and I were on a video call, and noticed something was off with her. So I asked, what is it? When Mengqi said softly, my mom will not let me. I was stunned. Damn. Your mom found out about us? When Mengqi blushed, then, looking miserable, softly said, school. I understood at once. This is about college applications, right? Your mom does not want you studying in Yanjing. When Mengqi nodded, her lips pouting sadly, I burst out laughing. It is not like I am guaranteed to get into Tsinghua or Peking University. Maybe I will study in Modu too. Besides, we choose our colleges after the entrance exam. Anything we say now means nothing. Maybe when your first and second mock exam results come out, and they see your grades are good, they might change their minds. When Mengqi sadly traced circles on her bed with one finger. Finally, she said, they said they want to buy me an apartment in Modu. If I remembered correctly, property prices in Shanghai and Shenzhen would skyrocket. My eyes lit up at that. Now I finally understood what a wealth gap really was. On the first day back after the holiday, my homeroom teacher, Liang Yuding, sent me to the dean's office. Dean Ming Fengli was sitting in his office. He looked up as I entered and smiled. Your student records should be transferred to second middle school in another 2 weeks. Then you will officially be a student of second middle school. Our school has a tradition. At the 100-day mark before the college entrance exam, we hold a 100 days pledge rally. I spoke with several senior year teachers, and they all think you are well suited to lead the 100 days pledge rally. Surprised, I asked, you want me? Dean Ming Fengli smiled. I mean, are you willing to be the lead student? This year is important, and the authorities have given us a chance to apply for provincial model high school status. During the pledge rally, reporters may come to take photos. After your exams, you will also need to give interviews. First, they will follow up on the students who took the pledge, especially to see how the lead student performs. Second, I think this could be a breakthrough for our bid to become a provincial model high school. Ming Fengli continued. You dropped out after arguing with teachers and the dean at first middle school. So I will be frank with you. If you lead the pledge at this rally and earn excellent grades, it will definitely be a blow to first middle school. It will be a chance for second middle school to break through and perhaps even surpass first middle school in our bid for provincial model high school status. I said directly, Dean. Since you have put it that way, I will absolutely do a good job as pledge leader. Oh, and when the story is reported, remember to have the reporter ask me why I dropped out of first middle school. Then I can objectively compare first and second middle schools, and properly thank first middle schools, teachers and administrators for their guidance. Mengqi laughed at my joke. When I returned to class and mentioned the pledge rally, the students around me erupted in excitement. That is awesome, pledge representative. The teachers must think highly of you. It used to be the top student in the grade who led it. That is a heavy responsibility on your shoulders. I grinned. Right? I think so too. But it is no big deal. Taking first place in the grade will be easy. But no sooner had I said it, than it spread to the next class, and even throughout the school. That afternoon, even the physics teachers' first words in class were a tease. All right, everyone, take out your previous test papers. I hear someone in our class plans to take first place in the grade, and says it will be easy. Then you had better work harder. Not just Yifei either. The rest of you need to work hard too. The first mock exam is coming up soon, the principal said. The first mock exam will show how well your class is doing. If your scores improve significantly, the whole school will adopt your class's study group program. Then you will truly bring honor to your homeroom teacher, Ms. Liang Yuding. The corners of my lips curled up. The first mock exam was also standardized across the entire city. Every school received the same questions. Its scope was even broader than the joint exam among the four schools. We would be able to see citywide rankings. The final two classes on Monday afternoon were set aside for study groups to study independently. The student tutors were already eager to begin. Our class monitor, Chen, counted the members in every group. He found that physics, chemistry, and math had the most students signed up. As the student tutor for all three subjects, I clapped my hands and smiled. Come on, everyone. Everyone's time is valuable. So I'll bring out my secret weapon, all right? There are just over 100 days left until the college entrance exam. We cannot possibly fill every gap in your knowledge, but there are certain problems that, in my view, you absolutely must master. You have to understand them. Then I explained the key concepts to everyone. In the blink of an eye, Wednesday arrived. As the bell rang, the physical education teacher said, same rules as always. Girls, 800 meters. Boys, 1500 meters. Once you finish, you are free to do as you please. Two girls raised their hands, their faces flush. Teacher, we are not feeling well today. Then Liu Xiang shamelessly raised his hand with a grin. Teacher, I am not feeling well either. The physical education teacher walked over, kicked him, and snapped, get lost. You are running to 1,000 meters. During the last physical education class, Zheng Yansong had run right at the front, but this time, strangely, he was at the very back. The girls watching nearby were stunned. Why did Zheng Yansong seem to be with Lin Yifei so often? And lately, Zheng Yansong had been rushing to the library after every class. Meanwhile, as Zheng Yansong ran, he updated me on the online store. I also told him about my plan to start a company. Just then, Liu Xiang ran over curiously too. What exactly are you two plotting? And since when are you two so close? Zheng Yansong rolled his eyes. Get lost. This has nothing to do with you. Liu Xiang protested. Hey, why should I get lost? You have turned traitor. I ask you to smoke, and you ignore me. You run to the library every day. What is even in that library? Half jokingly, I said. Books can lead you to beautiful women. Books can lead you to riches. You really would not understand. Zheng Yansong chimed in. You should start studying seriously too. Otherwise, you will be finished. Liu Xiang was dumbfounded. If anyone else had said that, he would have brushed it off as nonsense. But this was Zheng Yansong, the school's undisputed smoking king. Skipping class, smoking, fighting, cheating on exams. Zheng Yansong had done nearly all of it, and now he was telling him to study hard. Liu Xiang asked in shock, Lin Yifei, what kind of spell did you put on him? This change is way too drastic, right? You two are not secretly into each other, are you? I burst out laughing. All right, quit talking crap though, and when the girls run later, nobody laughs at them. Liu Xiang said helplessly, but the way they run is really funny. It is hilarious. As he spoke, Liu Xiang even imitated them. Then I kicked him. Liu Xiang nearly fell to the ground. He turned around, eyes wide. What are you doing? Just as the two were about to clash, the girls nearby gasped, look, Lin Yifei and Liu Xiang are going to fight. Then the physical education teacher caught them, and each of them was punished with 10 laps. a large group of girls began chattering. The reason they fought was especially strange. It was because Liu Xiang had mocked the girls, yet only when Mengqi, Zhang Shiki, and the other girls he had mocked knew why. So what if your grades are good? Why should I listen to you? Liu Xiang cursed as he ran. He was already upset about embarrassing himself. During the last Zhongda joint exam, people even brought it up from time to time, and now he had been kicked by Lin Yifei. By my 6th lap, I was completely exhausted. My clothes were soaked through with sweat. Just then, the little rich girl, Mengqi, ran over and handed me a bottle of water. She whispered, "Sorry." Still catching my breath, I smiled. "What are you apologizing for? This has nothing to do with you." Zhang Shiki spoke from beside us, sounding envious. "But everyone says you fought him because you would not let Liu Xiang laugh at us while we were running." I gave a brief nod. More or less, he can laugh at anyone else, but he cannot laugh at my girl, Mengqi. That was how we wasted an entire physical education class. Before school ended, our homeroom teacher even called us to her office. "Tell me, why did you fight?" Our homeroom teacher, Liang Yuding, looked at me curiously. After all, good students getting into fights was rare. Yet he had transferred here only a month ago, and this was already his 2nd fight. This time, he had even started it during physical education class. Liu Xiang said grimly, "Teacher, he kicked me first. I did not even provoke him. It came out of nowhere. He is insane." My brows drew together slightly. In a low voice, I said, "Teacher, I struck first. It was my fault." Liu Xiang froze at my words. He had expected Lin Yifei to argue or defend himself. Instead, he admitted it immediately. Liang Yuding could neither laugh nor cry. She said, "Then tell me, why did you hit him? I believe you are not the kind of person who hits someone without a reason." I answered evenly. I told him not to laugh at the girls running, but he would not listen. He kept mocking the way they ran, so I kicked him. Hearing that, Liang Yuding immediately understood what had happened. She said coolly, "But you still cannot hit people." Liu Xiang immediately cut in. "Exactly." Liang Yuding rolled her eyes at Liu Xiang. She scolded, "You stay right here. Have your parents come pick you up." Is that not the kind of childish behavior only little kids engage in? But what impressed Liu Xiang most was that Lin Yifei was actually selling monster-themed underwear. It was the kind of venture that thrilled him beyond words. He had even cursed in excitement over the phone. He is a damn genius. At that moment, in Liu Xiang's eyes, I was no longer merely a top student. I was an insanely badass big shot. Then he leaned close to my ear and whispered, "I can go to the library after every class too." The whole class began questioning reality. That morning, Liu Xiang had not only apologized to me, but every time the bell rang after class, Yansong went to the library, and Liu Xiang actually grabbed a book and said he was going to. The boys stared at one another in disbelief. It felt like a dream. Why did everyone who clashed with me suddenly seem to have lost their minds and become completely different people? Even Liu Xiang had started working hard. At last, Zhang Shiki, who sat in front of me, could not contain her curiosity and asked, "What on earth did you give them? This is unbelievable. You may not know this, but Liu Xiang and Zheng Yansong never used to go to the library. They would even skip class sometimes to play basketball." Then Liang Yuding said, "The mock exam and New Year's Day celebration have both been moved up. Our class only needs to put on one performance." Hearing that, I immediately suggested canceling my magic act. When Mengqi froze for a moment, she looked a little hurt. She clearly wanted to say something, but in the end, she held it back. One look at Mengqi told me she did not actually want to perform either. I immediately wrote her a note. "We will do your act together. We will perform piano and vocals together. I only just thought of it. I will write the lyrics and sing. You only need to play the piano." When Mengqi was completely stunned. After all, she studied music, so she knew how difficult songwriting was. After class ended, Yanziki, the class arts representative, ran over. "Lin Yifei's act has been cancelled, so you are the only one left. Tell me the name of your piano piece before this week is over. I need to submit it." When Mengqi said shyly, "I do not know either." Then she turned and glanced at me beside her. I slowly replied, "Yan, put us down for piano and vocals. When Mengqi, then I will go on stage and sing a song together. It is called Dignity. It is an original song." Yanziki was dumbfounded. "What? An original song? Did you write it yourselves?" "Yes, I wrote it." Zhang Shiki, seated in front of me, was stunned too. She asked in surprise, "What? Lin Yifei. You can write songs too. The surrounding students instantly gathered around to watch the drama. Afterward, when Mengqi and I went to find Liang Yuding, we wanted to borrow the school's piano room for rehearsals. Liang Yuding hesitated. That may be difficult. Seniors do not have music classes. How about this? Asked teacher Chen from the arts class. She should have the key to the piano room. Soon, we arrived outside the arts classroom. Chen Qianqian, the arts teacher, smiled and said, I teach classes here, so I cannot simply give you the piano room key. If you really need to borrow it, ask the dean to write me a note. Then I can give you the key. All right. My eyes lit up. I said, wait, I have the dean's number. Then, right in front of teacher Chen, I made the call. I explained the entire situation. Chen Qianqian was surprised when I finished. She had not expected the student to reach the dean directly. Not long after, I finally got the piano room key. Then I wrote out the lyrics for Mengqi. In her little notebook, Mengqi drew a blank sheet of staff paper. Then, listening to me hum the tune, she worked out the melody. In a little over an hour, she had written the music. Over the next few days, we rehearsed in the piano room almost every day. At last, we achieved the performance we had been hoping for. At that moment, our Chinese teacher, Wenxuan, spoke from the podium. Lin Yifei, come here for a moment. That essay you gave me really was good. I have already submitted it for you. If you make the shortlist, you will need to take an in-person written test. Just be prepared. Meanwhile, a tall student-athlete stood on First High's campus. Sirou walked over shyly. Ever since she watched my speech at the literature club, she had suddenly become infatuated with me. She had even reread my online novel several times. The more she read, the more obsessed she became. Without realizing it, she had forgotten all about her pursuer, Liu Tianlei. Liu Tianlei said softly, I want to dedicate a song to you at the New Year's performance. And I know you really like this song. What song? I am not telling you yet. You will find out then. After they chatted for a while, Sirou returned to the classroom. Her deskmate could not help gossiping. What did he want with you? He said that at the New Year's performance, he had prepared a song for me. The whole class erupted at that. Even Sun Fei could not help messaging me. The dean's son who fought with you came to see Sirou. He even prepared a song to dedicate to her at the New Year's show. So, what? What does that have to do with me? In my previous life, I definitely would have gone off about it. I had been disciplined because of Liu Tianlei in the first place. We were practically sworn enemies. Worst of all, Sirou had even defended him. Only then did I remember. Liu Tianlei really had, at the arts performance, sung a song. But back then, I had no idea that the song was for Sirou. It seemed that even before graduation, the two of them already had something going on. No wonder they went to different colleges. Yet rumors spread that they were dating. The most ridiculous part was, Sirou had always told me that she felt nothing for Liu Tianlei. She said she had only been afraid of getting disciplined then, which was why she had not told the truth, and so on. I never imagined I had been that stupid back then. No wonder that at so many reunions after graduation, I became the punchline of everyone's gossip. I can still remember exactly how they mocked me. At one reunion, I accidentally overheard some classmates talking. Did you hear? Sirou and Liu Tianlei are together. I saw that they even went to Sonya together. I remember Sirou used to be with Lin Yifei, right? Look at him now. He has not amounted to much. Lin Yifei was such a pathetic lovesick doormat back then. When I heard that conversation, I completely fell apart. The more I thought about it now, the more laughable my former self seemed, and so spineless. Then a new thought suddenly came to me. The scene on the bus flashed through my mind. Since Sirou had apologized to me, and even invited me out for dinner, did that mean I might have a chance to turn the tables and get revenge on the first high beauty who had ruined my life? A crazy idea took shape in my mind. I would make Sirou fall for me, make her become my lovesick lapdog. Then Liu Tianlei could experience what it felt like to be strung along by a woman. The next day, as soon as I reached the school gate, I saw the stage already set up on the field. After returning to class, I carried Mengqi's and my own desks and chairs downstairs. After waiting about 10 minutes, I saw Mengqi and several girls walking onto the field. I stood and waved. Mengqi came and sat beside me. Just then, our English teacher walked over and said, "You two are the stars of our class today. So, are you ready?" Blushing, Mengqi said softly, "Miss, I am still so nervous." "Do not be nervous. You played wonderfully last year. Several of us teachers were amazed. You will do just fine. I heard that last night. Lin Yifei even used his online novel to rally support for himself, right? You had better give it your all. Your younger fans are all watching you. Meanwhile, the atmosphere at First High was just as lively. Both schools had chosen the same day for their New Year's performances. At that moment, Dean Liu Qiang quietly said to Song Wenbo, "For this mock exam, the essay questions are being set by an old professor. He likes essay topics that examine human nature. Later, have the students focus their preparation more on that angle. For this exam, we need to widen the gap with Second High as much as possible. After all, First High's college admission rate speaks for itself. We cannot let them beat us academically. For the other classes also, give their homeroom teachers a heads up, but do not let this get out, especially Lin Yifei, the student who transferred to Second High, and the classmates close to him. Make sure to warn those students. They cannot pass this information to Second High." The two exchanged a glance, and both smiled. Song Wenbo instantly understood. He could not help asking, "I heard that when you visited Lin Yifei's home, you wanted him to return to First High, but that kid made you write a 3,000-word self-criticism." Liu Qiang's face darkened at once. He said sternly, "When did that happen? That is complete nonsense." Soon, the New Year's performance began. "Hey, Liu Tianlei is up." A boy from the next class suddenly shouted excitedly. The singing god, the singing king. The girls in class 2, senior year, began to stir as well. They could not help looking toward Chen Sirou's seat. After all, everyone knew Liu Tianlei had said he had prepared a song for her. Several hopeless romantics among the girls teased her. "How romantic! He is singing it just for you." Chen Sirou shyly whispered, "No, it is not like that. Do not make things up." Even so, she was already overjoyed inside. She secretly looked up toward Liu Tianlei on stage. On stage, Liu Tianlei coughed twice and cleared his throat. Then he began, "Today, I am bringing you a song called Wish for One True Love." Then instinctively he looked toward Class 2, senior year. As the music began, Liu Tianlei started singing on stage. Sunfei recorded the song and sent it to me. When I saw the video and its title, I laughed. It was something I should have realized long ago. Yet I had been a complete idiot. And if I remembered correctly, Liu Tianlei had even won second prize. After finishing the song, Liu Tianlei deliberately looked toward Chen Sirou below the stage. Meanwhile, Second High's New Year's performance was also underway. Unlike at First High, the instant the host on stage announced the name Lin Yifei, the whole school erupted. After all, when I was at the literature club before, I had already revealed that I was the novelist on Tiba, and the literature club's open class video had received a flood of likes on the forum. So I had become fairly well known. Seeing the thunderous applause throughout the venue, even Class 4's homeroom teacher was stunned. The dean and principal began whispering to each other. Then the staff carefully wheeled the piano onto the stage. When Mengqi was incredibly nervous, she had never expected such loud cheers from below. I could see that the little rich girl was nervous. So I stepped forward and took Mengqi's hand as we walked on stage. As we walked, I whispered in her ear, "It is okay. You can do this. If you are scared, close your eyes and imagine how it felt when we practiced in the piano room. Besides, they are cheering for me. You do not need to be nervous." Once on stage, I bowed to the school leaders and teachers below. Then I took the microphone from the host. Smiling, I nodded and said, "Hello, everyone. I am Lin Yifei from Class 4, senior year. I am honestly flattered today. I never expected so many students to support and encourage me. Today, I am bringing you a song that I wrote and composed myself. It is called Dignity." By then, I could already see many students holding up their phones to record. There were even professional cameras aimed at me below the stage. I gave a small, tight-lipped smile. I turned to look at Mengqi beside the piano and nodded to her. Mengqi took a deep breath and finally began to play. As the music began, I instantly sank into the emotion, slowly closing my eyes. Memories of my past life flooded my mind. Being disciplined at school, being surrounded at school by classmates who pointed at me and gossiped, being criticized and made to write a self-criticism before the whole school, failing the college entrance exam and crying alone in my room. After graduation, holding those disastrous exam results, staring blankly in my college dorm, and finally, at a class reunion, everyone mocking and ridiculing me. Then I began to sing with all my heart. A breakup should be dignified. Neither of us should apologize. How could either of us owe the other anything? I dared to give, so I dared to let my heart break. Before the camera are the people we used to be. Cheering, weeping, our voices hoarse. Leading with grace means those years were not in vain. Memories of loving fiercely and giving sincerely. Do not let obsession destroy yesterday. I loved you, decisively and without hesitation. When the song ended, I bowed. The entire school rose to its feet in thunderous applause. Even the dean and the vice principal stood up and applauded. Then I took Mengqi's hand and led her off stage. The applause never stopped, not until we returned to our seats. Yet no one expected that my song would take first place at the New Year's performance across the whole school. Afterward, to music teachers and an arts teacher could not praise it enough. Arts teacher Chen was especially enthusiastic. I cannot believe our school has produced a student who can write their own songs. Both the lyrics and performance are deeply moving. I believe their winning this award will be beyond question. Congratulations. Congratulations, Lin Yifei and Mengqi. When the host announced the successful close of the New Year's performance, all of Class 4, senior year, erupted in cheers. Oh no, I think I am falling for you. One girl could not stop herself from saying it. Blushing, she hurriedly explained. I mean like a fan idolizing someone. Everyone around her burst out laughing. Even Xiaoyou, who had always liked me, could not help looking at me with admiration. He was simply perfect. A top student and a gifted young man. He could sing, write songs, and write novels. His grades even ranked in the top 10 of the entire grade. At that moment, she even began to envy Mengqi standing beside me. Before this, Xiaoyou had always refused to accept it, believing Mengqi was not good enough. But now, she was completely consumed by envy and jealousy. At that moment, our English teacher, Liang Yuding, our homeroom teacher, smiled and said, "That was amazing. What an incredible surprise. Did you two write this song together?" Mengqi shook her head and pointed at me as she softly said, "He wrote it." Then I replied softly, "If it were only me, I could never have performed this song. Mengqi is exceptional, truly talented. I only hummed the tune for her, and she could write the melody onto a 5-line staff. She could even play the piece. So, we created this song together." Mengqi stared blankly at me. She knew she had not actually done much. I had guided every part of it step by step. Smiling, I gently pinched Mengqi's nose. Then I leaned close and whispered in her ear, "After all, this song only exists because we performed it together, right? If I sang it without accompaniment, it would never have had this effect." Mengqi lowered her head, wanting to argue, but she did not know what to say. Seeing this, many students began applauding. Everyone realized they had underestimated Mengqi. This girl, who usually barely spoke and had always gone unnoticed, was remarkably talented too. That night, everyone uploaded the video online. Without a doubt, for the students at first high, today's biggest scoop and hottest gossip topic was the song sung by athlete Liu Tianlei, "Wish for One True Love." After all, Liu Tianlei had deliberately said it was for Chen Sirou. At that moment, the senior year class to group chat was buzzing. Everyone was talking about Chen Sirou and Liu Tianlei, showering them with praise and envy. It thoroughly satisfied Chen Sirou's vanity. Just then, someone suddenly exclaimed in surprise, "Hey, go check second highest T before him. It looks like